Everyone.
Hello.
Hello. We're back today with our Comic Wars podcast.
Oh. What happened?
I'm hearing a double sound. 1 second.
Uh-oh.
Ah, there we go. It was Twitch. Never mind. We're good.
Yeah,
No. We're good. We're good. I just wanted to make sure that no one's hearing double the noise there. There's already enough for two of us. There's already four of us.
Okay,
Yes.
I am not a mod. Could you could you fix that real quick?
You're not? Yeah. And I'll do some shoutouts too, just to do some preemptively for you.
Something I completely forgot about.
For the both of us there. Yeah, no, that's okay. I want to put the shout out in there for you. I also want to make sure, because I haven't minimized, that's okay, we're just a little dark right now.
Oh wait, hold on.
What happened?
Oh no, my camera or my stream is behind what we're actually doing.
Right.
So for a second it looked like my camera was frozen, but no, I was just being like a statue for a quick second.
Okay. Yeah. So you see when I minimize the Discord, it just goes black, but when I open it, we'll be fine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. That just tends to happen. I'm just making you mod real quick.
Okay. We're still here, everyone.
Yeah, no, we're still here.
We're working out all the technical stuff. Thank you.
I think it's yeah. There you go. I love that they make it so easy as /mod. I don't have to go through a whole menu. So that makes it so much easier. See, and then I open Discord, and bam, we're back up.
Awesome.
There we go. Awesome. Yep. So as long as I keep Discord open, it should be okay. Okay, so I'll keep that up with this. All right. And I think, do you have the stream open on your end? Just so, let me know if anything happens. I did. Okay. So, yes. So, for anyone here, I guess we'll reintroduce ourselves. I think when did we last do this? Was it February? I know it wasn't March, because March is when the PC was messing up. Maybe January?
Or was it early March? Like right before?
Oh, because we did one last one before that happened to me, right?
Yeah. It was just before.
Oh, okay. So that happened, and then it killed my PC. Okay.
Yeah.
It just I'm blaming the podcast. I'm joking. Yeah. So as most of you know us, but if there is anyone new here, we'll introduce ourselves more individually. So, I'm Crimson Fury. I've been streaming for about 7 years now. Been gaming since probably, I would say, 5 years old on NES with the first Mario Brothers, and been gaming nonstop. I still am. I don't plan on ever stopping. And I just want to start streaming because it's just something where funny enough, I had lost my job, and I was so busy with work and the severance package, I used it to buy streaming upgrades, and I just started, and I've been wanting to do it, and some things work out for the best. So it's always sometimes a blessing in disguise, as they say. And our lovely, he's a moderator. We're moderating each other's channels here. I'm very good friends even outside of this. We've met in person a few times as well, and I love Wolvie so much. So for him to approach me with this idea and even include me, I'm very honored to be a part of it. Because we have someone who's very well versed in comics. I'm someone who's more new, and I think we thought having the take of having a fresh take plus someone who's more of a veteran, and of course some comics that'll be new for him too, would just be interesting to do a podcast of that you would all be interested in. And for my own personal channel, I mainly do indie games of RPG and horror, and trying to get back into RPGs because Expedition 33. I thank that game for getting me back into it. But yeah, because that made me just want to even stop doing the horror for a while. So I really want to get back into JRPGs.
I just finished it on my channel, and
I gotta catch up. That makes me make me want to stream it tomorrow because it is really that good.
It's gonna sit with me for probably forever.
So unfortunately for anyone here, we only got to do one podcast, which was of Mr. Miracle, which highly recommend.
I wanna introduce myself too.
No. Well, yeah, no. I was gonna pass it over to you, but just what we did. Okay. No, yeah, no. But that's all we got to do, and then Wolvie approached me with this, so it was great to just get into comics myself, and I find myself reading more on my own time. But go ahead, Wolvie. I'll have you introduce, and then we could talk more about upcoming stuff.
Hi, I'm the Wolverine 114. You can call me Wolvie. I've been streaming since 2018, but I had a 2-year hiatus in there, so around 5 years total. Yeah, I've been a gamer since I can remember. I've been reading comics since I snuck and read my dad's copy that he was holding on to for a friend of Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1 from 2001. Um, uh, and yeah, I'm over on my channel. I play a ton of different games. Like I just said, I just finished Clair Obscur, um, and I have an acting background, so that just kind of naturally led into me wanting to do something to blend both my performance background and also my video game stuff. I'm slowly transitioning, that's the word, into being a VTuber on my channel.
I saw. Congrats on that.
Yeah, I've been mainly just streaming with a PNG, and I'm just now having someone work on my model. So,
Oh god, congratulations! That's big because yeah, for those of you that don't do that, it's not the cheapest thing, and also very difficult to really get someone to do it just right for you. Because I have
found
PNG.
A really good deal.
You did? Okay, good. Because I know even for my PNG,
I'm broke as hell.
Even for my PNG, yeah, dude, I didn't know until I was like, okay, so I started with PNG first instead of going into video because I do have a PNG model, and that alone, even just for a still image, was expensive. So I can only imagine for like full video and the apps that they use. So. No, dude, that's exciting. I saw in your channel recently that you were doing the PNG tuber for now.
Yeah, I'm excited to start that whole journey. I've got a bunch of friends who are VTubers, so
Yes.
it just kind of has naturally progressed into this kind of a thing. So, so yeah, that's me.
That's me. And then there's us as a channel. But
yeah.
So I know just from my end, I know. Unfortunately, right after that Mr. Miracle one, which was amazing, my PC just like crapped out.
I love that first episode we did, and then immediately life just uppercutted us both.
yeah, because I was like, okay, like, it'll be 2 weeks for this PC, no biggie. It'll be right before the April one. Then it was a month, and then like almost a month and a half, and it finally came. And then of course, like once I was good to go and had to redo everything, whole new PC, all commands. Then unfortunately, you had gone through so much as well, so. I'm just glad that we're both ready.
I got hit with a debt collector trying to take me to court, and
oh my god, that fucking thing,
just
Jesus.
out of absolutely nowhere. So then I had like a massive subathon to try to like take care of the costs, which I did manage to. Between what I raised in the subathon and also some external help, I managed to get that all taken care of. But oh, did you?
No, we're good, right?
Okay,
we're good. Okay.
I saw it flash black, and I was like,
yeah. That's what worried me too. That's why I quickly checked. Okay.
And then so got that taken care of, but at the same time, the stress of that and everything else that was like around that, plus a lot of other things, triggered something in my body to where I'm now going through testing to see if I have some sort of disability that might have been lingering underneath. But all of that to say, that's why we've been gone for so long.
Right,
it's just
right.
one thing after another, until now we're finally back. We're finally here, able to do this again, and it's been a while, but we've both been itching to get back into this.
So. Yes. No, I mean, even the talks of future podcasts, which we're excited to share with all of you as well. It's just, it made us more excited, and I'm just happy to hear, on both sides, we're both doing better, especially for you as well. I know with what you're going through now. So, I was almost even concerned for a bit that you may not even want to do it anymore. So I'm happy that you still want to. And
I was just not feeling good for a while.
Yeah. No, I understand. I mean, look, it's some of the things I like to say on stream too, where it's like sometimes when I'm not feeling well, I don't want to stream, and then I usually do, and it makes me feel better. So I think even for the both of us, sometimes it's just good to like, let's dive right back in, let's do it.
It's just gotta force ourselves to just like, here's the deadline, let's get
to it. Yeah, and look, and now we're here, we're live again. But yes, so here we are with wait, Laird, no. Maybe it looks better on yours because I have a blur
it.
background. Oh wait, why is yours different?
Mirrored. Or no, wait. It's not mirrored on yours.
See, look. Wait, why is it Yeah, why do you have a different cover?
Because director's cut.
Oh wait. Oh, so am I missing stuff possibly?
Not content wise.
Oh, okay.
It's just I have all of this back here. That's
I have some concept art. But okay.
It's mainly just concept art.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh my god. I was like, did I miss out on that much? But all right, so we're gonna jump into
this whole blue section in the back is mine.
Oh damn! Oh my god, that's a lot of blue section though.
The pages are really thick, so it's not quite as much as it looks, but
no, but that's hella thick, Jesus. But all right, we'll jump right into it. So, this is created by Kevin Eastman.
Well, did we want to talk about what the plan for the channel is before we?
Oh sure, yeah. We doing upcoming events for the next few months. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Or do we want to hold on to that for the end? Up to you.
We could do a little bit of both. I mean, I don't mind at least at the end talking about the next one we're doing. But right now we could talk about just over the next few months, like what we're looking at, especially that there's some movies that will be matching with the comics.
Absolutely.
Do you want me to go into it or?
Sure.
Yeah. So the way we have our plans right now, anyone who's in the stream, you can actually look at our comics panel below. I did update dates and time. Well, dates. The time is typically 2 p.m. Eastern, so that's going to be the same time. So
good time works.
Right, yeah. That's why it's right. It's still early enough in the day, not too late, and you can still have the rest of your day to yourselves. So we don't want to take up too much of your time. But yes, so we're back with the Last Ronin today, of course, as you all know. But next month we have 2 amazing movies coming out with Superman and Fantastic Four. Now, Fantastic Four is more at the end of the month. We thought it was a little earlier, but July 11th is Superman. July 25th is Fantastic Four. So we're thinking for our next one, since we're doing our next podcast, that's Sunday on the 13th, that we're going to pair the Superman Up in the Sky comic with the Superman movie that's releasing.
Yeah, we'll do like a review of the movie and talk about that a bit, and then also cover what I think is the comic that made me a Superman fan.
Yeah, I mean, you might make me a Superman fan because I like him, but I'm not like, oh my god, Superman, you know what I mean? Like, so maybe you'll turn me into one.
Yeah, maybe.
So no, that's super exciting. Then of course, then we go into August 10th, where since that's not too far after the release of the Fantastic Four movie on the 25th, we're going to be pairing a Fantastic Four comic with that movie as well. So, and again, it may not be something that's exactly related to the movie. All the movies are so vastly different in the Fantastic Four universe to really see which comic could even pair into it. But it's just to give you guys more background knowledge for those of you that only know Fantastic Four for the MCU. Which, if you do, I'm sorry. if that's your only media of knowing what Fantastic Four is, if you didn't grow up with it.
You mean like the previous movies?
Yeah, the previous movies. If you don't know, they have many.
This upcoming one looks like it's actually taking a lot from really good comic runs.
Okay,
so,
good.
Yeah.
The coolest hello. The coolest is
very
hey.
Excited for that. Because Matt Shackman, who's the director, was saying they based a lot of the development of it based on Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four and Ryan North's current run of Fantastic Four, and those are 2 of the best of all time at the moment.
Wow.
And,
okay.
And they're more recent, and it's oh, okay, yeah, great, awesome, just yeah.
So we could either do that, or if we do something that gives more people the origins.
Those are definitely 2 of the ones that I was floating around.
Okay. That's what I was thinking, because especially if it's going to be related to this new release, I definitely agree with that idea as well. You said I'm more excited for the next FF4 movie. I have the comics from the 70s, and I do have the 90s one as well. And I know a lot of it they have so many appearances in Spider-Man, X-Men, so I do have more of a background than just the movies as well. They're gonna go OG, so I hope the movie is good, because the others were very meh is an understatement. They were more than meh. Yeah, that's a better way. The original
one was it's got some ups and downs. Second one was and then Fan Four Stick.
I don't know if we should even talk about that one yet, because at least that original one with Jessica Alba and all of them is doable. You could deal with it.
Yeah.
But
the first one's all right. Second one is
Silver Surfer was meh. Yeah. But that third one, I don't even think. Yeah, I don't even hear anyone talk about it. So the OG was good. The one with Michael B. Jordan shouldn't have. Oh, the one with Michael B. Jordan should not have happened. Oh, okay, no, agreed.
Yeah, that's
that's what we're talking about. And then
but they have left the door open for one of possibly the best Marvel villains because of how bad that did.
Oh my God, who was in that movie?
So Miles Teller plays Reed. And in the comics,
right,
the Reed from the Ultimate Universe is so universally hated and goes through so much bullshit that he ends up turning evil and becoming a multiversal villain for the main universe. And now the primarily the Ultimate Universe, like the current Ultimate Universe. So what they have done now, because they based that movie off of the Ultimate version of the Fantastic Four, they have left the door open for Miles Teller to come back as the Maker.
Oh, the Maker! Yes,
would be insane.
That would be really good. I mean, because I think there's always a thing in comics of just seeing like the villains turn bad, like when it happens with Batman and all the different side stories. Like it's just where they're so inherently good for all this time. Like it always makes for just a good read or a good movie. So that's super exciting for me. Actually, because we're on that subject of Fantastic Four, in the Rivals game, what is that skin that he has? That I guess Spider-Man is in there because Human Torch died or something.
Oh, Future Foundation.
Okay. So yeah, that's something that I'm interested in as well.
That when Johnny was stuck in the negative zone, and was like presumed dead for a while, Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four and they became the Future Foundation. They had like all these like white and black suits, and
I love how they look. It looks so good.
They look great in the comics too. Like you will see a Future Foundation suit in every single Spider-Man game because it was such a good design that they just kept using it.
Oh, okay. I don't want to go too much off topic, but I just remember that from the Rivals game, and I was like, I love that whole, like, I would love to read about it. It made me interested to want to read more.
Yeah.
The coolest, a barefoot Spider-Man with the paper bag.
Oh, bombastic Bagman, yeah.
Yeah.
That was after Spider-Man got the symbiote suit off, and like Reed was analyzing it, which is the divergent point for Spider Shadow, is like, what if he didn't get to Reed in time and couldn't get it off?
Right, and then that's when it went to Web Shadow.
But in the main universe, it was like, oh, he did get it off. He gave it to Reed, and then he didn't have a suit to get back home. So they gave him an extra Fantastic Four suit and put a paper bag over his head so that his identity would be.
I think that's where that came from.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it is. The bombastic Bagman.
Wait, the coolest said that there's something that he saw, a small series where the Thing has like a supernova level where his rock broke like a cocoon. It blew my mind. Oh, like something with like if Human Torch was busting out of him almost. Like he literally blew up.
I've seen where he gets like damaged, and underneath the rock is like flesh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I haven't seen if there was like a thing where he became more powerful. But which that sounds like what he's saying. But I have not seen that. So if you wanna shoot that to me, sure.
Yeah, please even put it in the chat. That's very interesting for anyone watching. Yeah, definitely put that in the chat. Yeah, so that's our July, that's our August. We were just saying before you answered the coolest that July will be the Superman Up in the Sky with the Superman movie, and then we were just talking about FF4 because of the movie coming out that we're going to pair a comic with as well. And then what we were going to originally do in July, we have in September now with Daredevil Born Again. We just thought with these two movies, it would be best to, I'm sure everyone's going to be so hyped, see how well they do.
And then we got something really fun for October.
Yes. Do we want to kind of save that for now, or?
We can talk about it more later.
Oh, okay. So welcome everyone. We're going to go into the Last Ronin today. Again, for anyone that just came in, if you look at the comic panels below, we have all the dates for our future podcasts. So right now we're just doing monthly, but we may try to go back to bi-weekly soon, but we're doing monthly for now just to kind of, there's a lot of vacations that we both have, so I'm just trying to find a good time for each of us. Yes. So, and then of course I have it here as well, but it's just, if I do it like this, you can see it. See, if I put it too high, then it goes blur mode. But like that. There you go. Ooh, he's all shiny. So yeah.
And I should say that before we get into this, this comic has been already confirmed to be a video game and a movie.
The video game I thought was like a year ago, but I haven't heard anything since.
Well, I mean, it takes a while to develop a video game.
Oh no, that for sure. I mean, I always feel like that. I don't mind waiting because, and then the more time they put into it, hopefully, it's just more fleshed out. They're not being rushed. So, after finishing this comic, that's a day one buy for me. I need to know if they making a game. I mean, even if they do this straight from the panels, there's so much action in this comic.
Apparently, from what they said, they're looking for the gameplay to be similar to the new God of War games. So.
Oh no! Thank you to Coolest. Is that my background is blurred, so that's why. See, if I do it straight up, you see how some of it's blurred. Oh, but it's fine. Okay, if it's right in front of my face, it doesn't blur me, so you can see it.
There you go.
I was just trying to look at it too, but I guess I don't need to. But yes.
Yeah, THQ said that like when they were developing the game, that they want the gameplay to be similar to the new God of War.
Oh, that would be so fire.
Yeah, so like third-person action, kind of. Yeah.
That would fit TMNT so well. Yeah, like.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that we have our Last Ronin with every weapon imaginable. So.
Oh yeah. Weapon swapping is gonna be fun.
Right. Oh my god! Right? Or even if he does something like, even if it's like some ultimate thing where he uses all four of them. So the movie is gonna be rated R. I heard. Oh yeah, no. I mean, if you read the comic, it definitely will be rated R. I think it will have to be.
So before we get into this, I realized I fucked up.
Oh, why?
I did not have you read Dark Knight Rises first.
Oh, why is that lead? Is that part of this?
Because this takes so much from Dark Knight Rises that you have basically already read Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, really? Like, you mean like inspiration for the story?
So there are differences. There's a lot of differences. But there are so many things that are like almost panel for panel. What happens in Dark Knight Rises?
A copy paste. Okay. Again, we were literally just
heavily influenced by Dark Knight Rises.
We were literally just talking about this before going live, but we're like, why do people copy paste? Like inspirations, we understand, but okay, wow.
Well, this is very much like an homage rather than just a copy paste.
No, yeah, I'm assuming it's not. But panel for panel, it's like okay, interesting.
Last Ronin is IDW.
Is Last Ronin DC or Dark
I was
Horse?
also, yeah, it's IDW. I was also. I was wondering that a few days ago myself.
Yeah, because I was like, wait, if they did that, they're not even from the same creators.
Oh, yeah,
okay, very interesting. Well, yes, so it's created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird.
As we come up to the references, I'll point them out and be like, yeah, no, this was from that, basically.
Yes. So we have, just right here, I could actually see that there, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. So, of course, as we know, most
Eastman...
comics... No, I was just going to say with most comics that just has the writer and the illustrator. So I was just looking them up as well of what other works that they did, and of course for some of our future podcasts as well. But go ahead. I know you know a bit more about them.
Eastman and Laird were they were the original creators of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
And so this was their first time getting back together to work in a while, I believe. And this was them like just going all out, like the best turtle story that they could write. Yeah.
I mean, this is by far
a little bit later. It'll tie back into like the original story,
right?
But we'll get there.
Yes. So, I actually read even the beginning. I do it a lot in the comics. I'm not sure if that ever matters. You read a lot more comics than I do, but I always read like the letters, or I'm not sure what those letters are.
The forward.
Yeah, that's like in every comic. Is that just a typical thing?
That's usually just in like the trade collections, especially like in the two that we have done, or like you've also started reading the Daredevil one.
Yes.
Like all the big collections. Usually somebody will have a foreword at the beginning.
Yeah, because I honestly I always read them. I know I'm sure some people skip them, but I love it because it's more, it shows their passion, what went into it and where they started and how it ended up at the Last Ronin and things like that. So I always read them. I know it's like not necessary, but it's fascinating. It teaches you more about how much they care and where it ended up now.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, so now we start with part 1, The Wish for Death, where the book opens up straight into the action. This comic does not waste time. There is no time wasting here. It is straight up. We have our Last Ronin, which we don't know who it is yet, just approaching this futuristic city. Yes,
and
one of the turtles.
He has all of the weapons.
All of them, yes. So, and you can see just more full on the ninja garb. Actually has a hoodie. Can even show some of that here, but that's typically how he looks there. That's just more of a still image of him
on the panel.
Yeah, and actually on the panel there.
And so they even make a point to make the mask black because you can't tell which one is which.
Right. They don't. I think they don't even try to do a color almost until the end. But and even here, where every part. So I'm showing it for part 1, but you'll see it in every chapter where they do like more a panel spanning both pages.
Yeah,
and I love
this double page splash is stunning.
Beautiful. Oh my god! I mean, every chapter I loved it.
And there's not a ton of detail to it either. Like it's literally just like the buildings, but like the buildings don't have a ton of detail. But like you get the mood, you get the vibe, you get like everything about it right off the bat.
Because the second you look at this, you're like, okay, like it's funny that you said it took so much from Dark Knight Rises, because this reminds me of Batman, honestly. Like, it's that darkness, it's that dystopian vibe of, this is the martial law, like being the citizens being under control in this city where you have a despot living here, pretty much, which we'll get into. They'll introduce him as well.
Now that part is more original to this.
Okay.
Dark Knight Rises doesn't really have that much. It is just like he does fight against like the cops every once in a while that are more like RoboCop-ish.
Right.
But it's not like this where it's like a full-on dictatorship under the city.
Yeah, this is extreme. Like this is probably one of the most extremes that I've read, as far as like that they can't do anything without the person we'll leave unnamed for now. We'll get to him in a second. But
also the coolest, it is far future. It is decades. It is everyone is dead except for this one turtle.
Mm-hmm.
And some other side characters that we'll meet.
Yes, exactly. And it's also that with their mutation, they could last for many, many years. So you'll see that even when you're looking at the comic, how much more bigger our Last Ronin is, as opposed to the turtles that we know growing up, or that we knew. So, yeah, so you can see here our Last Ronin's immediately storming the compound, storming the city.
He blasts through.
Literally blasting through. And as a one-man army, he is completely alone this entire section. This is just a one-man mission. And even I put one in my notes here, like basically a suicide mission. I even knew from reading it, just starting, it's like the first 3 pages of like...
It's so oppressive.
Yeah, like you could feel that, like, okay, he's planning to die here. He's not planning to get out of this. It's like I got that feeling immediately.
The force he's going up against is like, oh, you're one person versus an entire like cybernetic army. Like,
yes.
What are you even gonna do?
Yes, and I even made a point here of when it gets to a panel more of like, having the other turtles talking. And even when they show the other turtles, they show them, I believe, there's a few panels where they're all wearing the same black mask, or some of them don't have masks in some panels at all. They're just maskless, which is interesting as well. Just so you don't know who it is, obviously.
They really want to build up this mystery.
Yeah,
and like you're trying to pin it down by like, well, who talks like what? But they have all like shifted so much due to the decades that you really can't tell.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, you're thinking, if we're talking about typical turtles, Donnie was always the nerdy one, so he's a bit more serious. Mikey's he's the uppity, he's bubbly. Leo was just, I guess he's serious, but not. He's not Raphael serious. Raphael is like, I'm gonna beat your ass. Like Raphael's ready to scrap all the time. Like where Leo's just more serious, like a leader serious, but Raph is like,
he's stoic.
Yeah, Raph is really abrasive. Is probably the better word for him. And he was my favorite. But I was a Raphael fan, but it's also the color red. So I think now we're just...
He was always my favorite too, growing up. So.
Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, so and then even as the comic opens, one of my first notes here, because you see it, you could read this literally on the first page, is where I thought, I didn't know he was on this first page, because he's talking, and you're like, who's he talking to? And then, so it's something where these now hallucinations are coming up. So technically, I guess, talking to himself, but it's the other turtles, unfortunately. And so they do that very early on, like making it known to the reader. Like, this is not something where the writer's trying to trick you that, like, oh, the other turtles are alive, it's a joke, whatever. Like, no, they're dead. And, they let you know that from the beginning, that he's talking to. It's kind of sad when you think about it, like talking to him as hallucinations, but because it's like a full on conversation. Like as a new reader, I'm like, I thought it could have been multiple people at that point.
There's quite a few things in this book I've noticed that like for first time readers, you really don't know what's going on, but they do explain it like almost immediately.
Yes.
But there are moments where you're like, what, how, what, and then.
The writing is so well done in this comic that there's even a few times where I even almost swore to myself, like, are they hallucinations? Like, because it was just so well done, and like the way that they were present, even sometimes where they do show them present in the room with him, where it's like, oh, like it kind of tricks you for a bit. So it's just, that's how well done it is, just with the writing and illustration. The thing be when it's Trenchcoat Raph, that he's in hella serious mode. He's gonna kill you. That's when he's like, he's not fucking around. And even in the 90s movie where he puts on the trench coat and he walks out, that he's not messing around. So I both not even know of like a funny reference to like downloading of the maps. I just thought, for me, it was like a video game reference because this is a dystopian future, but I just like I literally downloading a map of the whole city. Like I thought it was funny. It was like a video game reference to me.
And then we meet the dictator, who is Oroku Hiroto, who is the grandson of the Shredder.
Yes. So,
and he is very based on Brandon Lee's The Crow.
Oh,
to the point where there is literally crows just everywhere. They show up several times in the...
Yes, so literal crows. And his whole army is also very new because we don't really see that in any other TMNT games or any type of media or comics, but introducing the Sinjas, where they are completely synthetic, because at first when they're fighting them they thought that they're maybe more half human half cyborg, but they are complete robotic, which is very interesting
because the Ronin literally decapitates one not knowing.
Oh yeah, he doesn't care. He's like, whatever.
Okay.
It's so funny that he was more shocked at the wires than he was at like just decapitating somebody. He's like, okay, whatever. But
exactly. He's like, huh, okay, I guess they're a robot. Cool.
Which I love that they hark back into this book about, like, you know, for those of you that grew up as real heavy TMNT fans, such as myself, of like, you know, even learning martial arts, if you ever took any growing up, and learning about honor and respect and the human form, you could see how like the Last Ronin looks down on that so much, and how much he hates that role, like cybernetic ninja, because it's like it just takes away completely from a human learning that technique and what it really is about when you're fighting. And then of course
that's a ongoing theme throughout the book.
Yeah, no, he mentions it multiple times for sure.
Yeah.
So then there's, you know, he's already invaded this tower. They make it very clear from the beginning. They show Oroku, it's Oroku Hiroto, right? Am I pronouncing? Yes, I'm pronouncing that correctly.
It gets shortened to Hiroto most of the time.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I know this is like his introduction, but when he's climbing this tower, this is like full on, like it's like you're watching a final boss sequence, and it's just chapter 1. It's like you are in the final stage of the video game, and he's climbing this tower to fight the final boss.
And Hiroto is just getting more and more agitated, and just like send out this, like just freaking out.
No, the coolest that is literally, this is chapter 1 where like you see him talking to himself.
They cold open on a full-on assault.
And he's Last Ronin is destroying them. He is slicing everyone's heads off. One thing I do like, which actually gives him a hard time in this book, in this comic, because I always remembered them in the video games and I hated them. But the little chomper robots that are like dogs,
the Mousers,
I hate them. Yeah. And like in the games I hated them, and in this comic they actually have a really hard time against them. So even they're throwing Mousers at him, the Sinjas, everything.
They were used so much, and like you can tell there's a lot of inspiration, not only from like the old original series, but also the cartoons.
Yes.
Especially like the early 2000s cartoons, because a lot of the characters that were important during that are now important during this. And especially the Mousers, because they use the Mousers in every damn episode.
Yes! Oh my god. And then, I mean, in the cartoon they make it seem like whatever. I remember in the games they were annoying, but here they actually seem very threatening. Like they consider them almost like next level security above the Sinjas, because
it's like they look cartoony.
Right.
But they are a threat.
Yeah, but even in the cartoons and games, like they probably sent 5 or 6 out. Like, no, this comic is like it's an army.
they have an army.
There's
Yeah.
hundreds of these Mousers coming at you. So it's like not a joke in this comic. So yeah, he's climbing the tower, destroying them. He's literally at one point like I just love. I almost want to call it like just all the acrobatics of it. Even him parkouring off of buildings. He's sliding off of, like destroying the airships and sliding off of them, jumping from ship to ship, climbing this tower, to confront Hiroto because of what happened, as we'll find out later in the book with the other our other turtle, Spencer, and everyone. So he gets to the top of this tower, and then
a Mauser that looks like Krang. It's supposed to.
Okay, that was done on purpose.
That's why it's got the more flat head, and then it's got the mouth and the stomach.
That's what I thought so too. I was like, was that done on purpose?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that one.
That was done on purpose. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I think that's on purpose.
It was supposed to be like it took a lot of inspiration from Krang from the '80s show. That's
which I love. That's the Krang that I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and what I like here too is that we'll get more into Hiroto in the later chapters as well. But even here, for just 2 panels of just meeting him, just so you know who the Last Ronin is going up against, it's just the evil in his eyes and how dark he is.
Oh yeah, he is like just the reincarnation of Shredder, but more.
I feel like he's almost worse.
More immature.
Yeah, because maybe he's more mature. Because at least Shredder,
like,
I feel like Shredder had
his temper much faster.
I feel like Shredder had some honor. Like Jesus.
Yeah, rather than having like the calm control that Shredder had,
right?
This guy's just losing his temper left and right. Like,
yeah. Which is why for me, I always say too. Like I remember I talked about this with the coolest, even in Mafia shows, where some of the Mafia shows they have the guy waving the gun around and like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot people. To me, that's not true power. True power comes in that calmness and your presence when you enter a room. So that's why Shredder was terrifying, even though he barely spoke. So like again, that's why something like this he's still terrifying, but only because it's not Shredder terrifying. It's more like psychotic terrifying with Hiroto.
Yeah,
like, you can see the look in his eyes. He looks insane.
He's unhinged.
He's unhinged. Yeah, unhinged is probably the best word. Like he definitely it's a different type of terrified. Yeah. So just for they clearly show that.
Yeah, but, and then that big Krang Mauser literally tackles the Ronin out of the skyscraper, and he somehow survives by hitting the ground.
Yeah, so that I was honestly surprised that I was like, damn, like I know the mutation like makes them stronger and faster and more resilient to damage, but like, come on, the height that he fell. I mean, well, technically at the end of part 1, so unfortunately leading up to that part where he finally gets to Hiroto, goes through all the systems, and Hiroto himself is like almost killing his own guards at this point because he's so pissed off. He's extreme. That's how, just to give you guys just a hint of how unhinged he is. I mean, there's multiple times in this comic where he's just snapping his own guards' necks. Like, it's just, it's ridiculous of how he just doesn't care about anyone's life but his. So yeah, he gets up to him, and then I believe the way, he was going to kill him, he got through all the defenses literally by himself. No one helping him, no backup, no nothing. Which was already shocking to begin with. And he goes to dive at him, and that's where I didn't write that. How did he fall out the window? Did he dive at him and missed? He gets tackled by that, right? That's how he fell out the window?
Yeah.
Because I remember he got like surprise attacked. He was going, they were fighting, he was going to kill him. He falls out the window, and unfortunately that comes to the end of that chapter 1, but right before they actually reveal who it is. So
now, well, before that, we actually get our first reference to The Dark Knight Returns.
Okay.
And also, while it was talking about Hiroto, there's a point where he, or is that yet, or is that after?
Then maybe
it's
chapter
literally
2.
the next page.
Yeah.
There's this girl hanging out with a bunch of teenagers.
Yes.
Who are all wearing clothes exactly like the teenagers do in Dark Knight Returns.
Jersey Ghoul just asked, and I was like, yes, we were just talking about how it makes a lot of references to Dark Knight Returns because of even Werewolf was saying that it takes some of those panel for panel.
And this girl who in this comic is the Turtles version of Carrie Kelly, basically, who is the Robin in Dark Knight Returns.
The Turtles version.
She follows the Ronin into the sewers and like helps patch him up.
Yep.
And that is what Carrie Kelly does to Batman at one point.
Also, is that where you're trying to say that it took like that
Yeah,
specific
it's
part?
exactly.
Okay.
It's a little bit different context, but what happens is exactly the same.
So that exact panel. Oh, okay. Remember? See, that's good.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can still read it after. I'm not against it. Just definitely shoot me a DM because I'll read the exact comic.
Oh, yeah.
I'll buy it.
We'll cover it. Like,
because I want to know more.
It's one of the greatest of all time. We'll cover it at some point.
Oh, so okay, we'll eventually do a podcast on it. All right, cool.
There's a reason this took a lot of homage from it.
And welcome Jersey Ghoul, and and the coolest also said that Kingpin has that calm demeanor and it's scary. Yeah, so that's why even something like Kingpin in the show, of course in the TV series as well. You know, not only Spider-Man's cartoon. Like, again, him just standing there not doing anything, and it's just like, you don't know if you're gonna live or not. That's
so imposing of a presence.
And Shredder had that too. Shredder, I mean, even though he looks like more slender because I guess he's a ninja, Shredder was tall, big, and muscular. He was a huge dude with spikes everywhere. Like, Shredder was imposing as well. I just think growing up we saw it as like, yay, turtles are beating him up. Like, we didn't take him so seriously, but and it's like with these comics, he's definitely a lot more terrifying. You said 20 out of 10 for Dark Knight, you mean? Yeah, so he falls out, he's gonna get patched up, and then of course, you know, when he wakes up, right before we get into part 2, he wakes up to our lovely April, which we haven't seen.
Before we get that far, Hiroto shows that he has his mother in a coma. Which his mother was the second Shredder in the 2000 series.
Oh, see, that I didn't know.
Yeah, that was Karai, the second Shredder.
Right, yeah, because they mentioned Karai, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So,
yeah, 'cause I will say that
he's the one who takes over the Foot Clan after Saki dies.
Yes, because they actually do a flashback, which I think they show in it's either part 2 or 3, I forget. But when they show it's part 2, so we'll get to that soon. With the fight with Karai as well, and she's leading the army before it gets past to Hiroto. So yeah, we get to the end of that there, and I was saying the whole time, and I actually guessed it because I showed Wolfie my notes before, and I was like, because when he wakes up to April, of course, you know, this has been years.
He tries to commit suicide.
I mean, because
the second book in a row that we've tried.
That was chapter 1 of Mr. Miracle as well. Well, Mr. Miracle, that was the first chapter as well, though. Yeah, that he tried to kill himself too. But here, you know, it's more like you know, typical ninja's death where he wants to do the harakiri to himself, and of course that the person that we'll leave unnamed because they'll mention her in a bit, that she stops him from doing that and actually you know, gets him back to where we see him waking up to April O'Neil, which again, that's why I'm wondering how far into the future it is, because she's not mutated, so it must be natural human years, and she's still alive. She just looks older, so I don't know how far into the future.
It's been a few decades, I think, at least. She looks like she's probably in her 60s.
That's what I'm thinking too, because it's much more, which I like too. That I could agree to that. Like if I were to guess the age, I would say 60s, because they make it so like fine line wrinkles, everything. Hair. Yes,
I'll cover the reveal, but she's looking old.
yeah, I would say 60s. Still looks so much like her. It's still recognizable, but definitely just how they did so well with the illustration of the age. And then seeing it, so of course as a new reader, I'm like, oh, April, like you get to see someone who's at least that he's, you know, Last Ronin's not completely alone. It's someone from the past, because
someone you can connect to.
Yeah, because I think for a reader, you're like, oh, are they all dead? Like every single one of them. It's like, okay, April, someone's alive. So, and then they get into right before we get into part 2, they actually introduce that it is Mikey. So I kind of actually wrote that in my notes. So I was like, I feel like it's, and the only reason I felt that way is because for me, it had to be either Mikey or Donnie. I think if they went Raph or Leo, and this is my, you know, you may have a different opinion because I actually want to know your opinion on this. For me, it would have been too obvious. Like, it would not have been a shock to be Raph or Leo. Raph is that abrasive in general, but he doesn't think too well before he goes into fights. He kind of just he makes rash decisions. Leo would be the most obvious person for that because he's the leader.
Leo would be if they were just copying Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, yeah, and also it wouldn't be a shock to it also wouldn't be a shock to the reader. It'd be like, oh, it's Leo. Like, for me, like, it has to be.
The stoic leader gets hardened and grizzled. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But then Raph, it's like, okay, he's already like that. So like the only shockers is to be Mikey or Donnie. So I was like, I'm gonna say it's Mikey, and it is. So I just love it's Mikey because he just goes from funny turtle to I'm a bro. And no, when he
goes through trauma.
Yeah, which so for those of you that are just joining, the reason that this even starts so strongly of like him climbing the tower and like something that you think you would see in the last chapter as opposed to the first is because the rest of what we're gonna read now or go into now is explaining how they all died, unfortunately, and now, where he got to where he is now and his attitude now.
Now, do you know why they picked Mikey?
No, that's just... I mean, for me, like I said, I mean, there's a good shock factor, too.
There's that, and also he has always been the best fighter of them.
I think growing up, you would never realize that, because I guess he just comes off so cheerful. Like, right? you don't think of him like that.
He's the one goofing around and, like, messing around the entire time, but, like... he's still managing to keep up with everyone. Right. So when he locks in and he's serious, he is the best fighter of all of them.
Wow. See, that's something I didn't even know because I
mean, that's why he's able to use all of their weapons now.
Oh, wait, now that
because he was just naturally that good.
Yeah.
That he could just adapt it into everything.
And it's so funny that the Coolest is mentioning it now, but the Coolest did a memory unlock for me. Because like, I'm trying to remember from watching the 80s cartoon, they did show that he's right, where he used to 3v1 them and he would win a lot of those fights, like when they would spar.
Yeah.
So
he's goofing around because he's too good for it.
There's a comic of him. He's using nunchucks as a piece. Oh no. Well, that he does a lot, but I thought they were just doing that to goof around, not to show off skill personally, but
that is showing skill.
That is showing skill,
he's goofing off and still doing this shit.
I guess even me watching the cartoon, I guess I didn't take it that way, but yeah, that would be showing skill.
It's yeah. So of course he's going to be the one at the very end. That after all of this and after everything they've been through, he's the one left standing because he was the best of them.
Yes, and they go into more specifically why, where he was at the time, what happened, how he even survived, because technically it was supposed to do like a coup d'etat type of thing where they're like, we're gonna kill all of them. So I think for a while, and it does come up a bit later of the surprise that that's why even when he's found by we'll name her in a bit, that even she's shocked. She's like a turtle because like they were almost everyone in this city is very sure that they're all gone. Like they're like, where the hell did he come from? So
not to mention they were kind of in the shadows for most of it, anyways.
Very true as well. So like because they're also subterranean there.
Yeah.
And for him to have hid this long, because like you said, if it's been like literally 20 to 30 years, then and he didn't show his face till now.
So like that's another reference to Dark Knight Returns.
Like him hiding for so long.
Because Batman is like gone for decades, and people think that he has returned to just urban myth status at this point.
And that's what happened with the turtles here as well.
And then he comes back as an old man, and it's like, oh, you're back. Okay,
like you're actually here, kind of like in Batman Beyond, where he's still a badass even though he's like so old.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we get to part 2, the first to fall. So I guess before we jump into that, was there anything else that you had any feedback on for the first part?
No, you covered it pretty good.
Okay.
I feel like there was one thing I wanted to say, but I can't remember what it was. So never mind.
Not that.
Come to me later.
Well, if it pops up, that's okay. We'll definitely talk about it because everything here, I feel like. Again, when you have these compendiums, they're separated into chapters, but it all flows. So, so in the first to fall, so we see April still alive here, reminiscing about we go with the war between the Foot and the Hamato clans, and like let me actually turn to the page here so I can show you guys.
I think it's implied that she had a nightmare about the memory.
Right. So even here, because for each of them, I do want to at least show them these beginning. So here it's one panel. Let me do it like that. Oh, it's in front of me. Okay. So you can kind of see, maybe I put it a little closer. Not sure if I blurred some more, but...
I've also got it here if you want me to...
Yeah, and you may have it actually shown differently because you have the director's cut.
Well, no, it's the same.
It's the same? Okay, cool. Yeah, so, because as soon as they show April, they decide in Chapter 2 to kind of just go right into what happened and April, because, when you see April, what is the first thing you gotta think about? Casey. So, like, it goes right into that, her dream sequence. Again, not just a dream; it's really more of a memory that actually happened. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
they're at the
her
dinner.
and Casey having dinner, and then
Yep. And I think she's pregnant at the time, or she's not pregnant. I think she finds out later.
Yeah. And
so
then
I hear the chimes going off. Is Yoto just? Oh, do you? Oh, I don't have any chimes on mine. Do you? Are your notice on, Obi?
mine are not. That would be on your end, because
Yeah.
I'm not in OBS.
Oh yeah, it shouldn't though. That's weird. Oh,
Are you in streamer mode?
Yeah. Well, it automatically puts me in, so I'm supposed to be alright.
It doesn't always.
Oh, okay. It doesn't always. Okay. I checked. It says that I am. Okay. But yeah, no. Thank you for letting us know. I mean, it's a small sound, unless it's popping up very often. I'll try because I actually haven't heard anything. But yeah, so they go into the reminiscing sequence. You know, she's with him at the dinner table, and all of a sudden they get a knock on their door. She's having dinner with Casey. They're talking, and Splinter comes in. So this is where they, again, just jumping right into it. They're not even trying to do like any type of slow background story. Like, you're getting background story, but it ain't slow. It's not like some like, oh, them just living their lives. This is like,
Raph comes in.
Well, Raph comes in with, and then isn't it two of them holding Splinter? I thought it was two of them.
Mikey and Donnie are carrying Splinter.
Yeah, Mikey and Donnie are carrying Splinter. Raph is like busting the door down. There's blood everywhere, and he has so many arrows in him. And they're laying him on the dinner table to try to basically, try to save his life. Raph, of course, again, abrasive, rash, Raph doesn't even wait, goes right out the door, and he's like, I'm going to kill. This is at the time where Wolfie had just mentioned Kadai is in charge. So he's going straight to the head, just like Mikey just did in chapter 1, where he was trying to go after Hiroto. So I guess he took a bit of inspiration from Raph there. But and unfortunately, this is where we get to see one of the first and how the sequence leads to their deaths. And it spans over parts 2 and 3, but in part 2 they just show this first because Kadai's leading the ninja clan. I believe Hiroto's a young boy at this point, or if he was even born at that point, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I think judging by how long it's been, I don't think he's been born yet.
Right, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I think at that point they didn't show him born, but I think April was pregnant already in this flashback.
Like we don't see him as a baby.
right, yeah, we don't. So yeah, you could only make assumptions. And Raph goes straight to fight Kadai, and then this is where, like, again in the first chapter, you got a lot of fighting, climbing the airships, he's going up the buildings, slicing off cybernetic heads, but here they're not cybernetic, and Raph is this is a bloodbath. I mean, Raph is single-handedly murdering almost Kadai's whole army. It's intense, and maybe we can even show one of the panels there, because this with Raph is so good. I'm trying to skip to it here. And Kadai looks evil. I don't know much about Kadai's like time as like the leader. I'm sorry?
One quick second.
Oh sure.
Hold on.
Sure. So I could try to show it here, so you could see a bit more in the camera. It's very dark. Because again they're drawing in dark red tones to. Yep. No, welcome back. So they're just drawing in dark red tones here. You can see it spanning both pages, where it just shows more of like. Again, the illustrator's trying to really portray that darkness, this oppressive vibe. Oppressive is probably the best word for it. That it's always dark, it's rainy, everything looks more. I usually use the word bland, but it's more like using an excessive amount of black and brown to really show that this is not a bright, vibrant world. This is very it's using that dark and oppressive type of color tone. So, and you could see that, and then besides all the red from the blood. And she's screaming at them to destroy them, and literally just like I mean, there has to be like almost 6, oh my god, I'm counting almost 7 to 8 panels in a row. 8 panels in a row of just Raph pages, doing like
not just panels, pages.
Oh sorry, 8 pages. No, yeah, I correct. Thank you for correcting me. 8 pages, so God, whatever how many panels that is. 8 pages in a row of Raph literally just just for you to feel the intense like hatred he has for the Foot Clan, and him spinning in tornadoes with these sais, slicing them, like arms are flying everywhere, heads, blood, it's crazy. And
also they definitely made Karai look like Elektra. 100%.
Oh, that I was gonna comment on that. I was like, that looks very inspired.
Because, so the Turtles and Daredevil have a lot of crossover.
Okay.
So it's actually semi-canon that the truck crash that made the chemicals splash onto Matt's eyes is also the same ooze that gets down into the sewers to create the turtles.
Oh, and it's canon?
Because the original Turtles,
I didn't know that.
Were supposed to be like a little bit of a send-up of Frank Miller's Daredevil.
Oh, so then that's why she
the
purposely
original
looks like
comic.
Electra. Oh, so that's all done on
And
purpose.
so that's why it's the foot instead of the hand. And that's why it's...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at that connection.
Yeah.
The foot and the... Jesus Christ.
In fact, when the Turtles first started, all of their masks were red.
Oh, it gets to signify like more of that Electro Daredevil type of color.
Yeah, because they were supposed to be like Daredevil.
Oh, interesting. And then they made them like their own personalities and colors. Oh,
It's all black and white with like just like a little bit of red here and there. Like,
so the red stands out more, yeah, and they do like a monochrome background. I love that. See, I like that you could at least go into a lot of like the history there, because that's something I would not know as a new reader. So yes, and Spencer gifted them the colors later on. And they yes, because he's when they grew up, he trained them in each of their weapons and gave them their masks. But yeah, so again, 8 pages of him just fighting her. Finally gets to Kadai.
It's a bloody fight.
It's so bloody.
And also, that's why that's why Raph uses size, is because of Elektra.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So
which
have,
as soon as you said that, I was like, I'm pretty sure.
Happen.
Right, and then and she has a katana.
Yeah.
But yeah, she has the katana. I mean, well,
the size are very important.
Well, typical ninja. But I will say here that I didn't expect Kadai to put up such a good fight, especially he was burning through the foot so easily across 8 pages. And they end up, their next to looks, I think, like a river or a dock. He fights through all the ninja and they end up falling into the water. Still continuing the fight, which is impressive, by the way, because, I mean, if you even know walking in water, that's not easy. And they're just like, they're going at it, like completely submerged. It's not even just like, halfway up to their waist. Like, they're completely underwater, still stabbing each other. Like, it does not stop. Like, the full hatred that she has for the turtles, the hatred that the turtles have for her, especially Raph in this sequence. And he's giving her a really good fight until, unfortunately she gets him right in the neck. But then he gets her, I think, right in her side. The side, like, and she doesn't expect it. She's like, I'm sorry?
He gets her in the back.
In the back, right? Because I think, like...
Yeah, because it's a shot that's actually referencing a little bit of the death of Elektra. But it's...
Yeah, right there. So, like, thank you for showing the panel there. Yeah, so, in the panel, you could actually see where... And I thought, she got him. Okay, so he's definitely going to die here. And I thought maybe she even survived, but nope. Because if you stab someone in the throat, you're going to assume that you won. So, like, maybe she just thought that, like... He's good, I won this, and right in her back. So it actually shows, I love how that even ends there. It ends a little bit somber.
I think it's more just they embraced, basically.
Yeah.
Like, they both got in super close for the killing blows.
Yeah. So, like, maybe... I mean, it could be
the way...
that
Karai is still alive because she's in a coma.
It could be the way the panel's laid out, but I believe in this middle panel, it does show it happening more at the same time. So maybe maybe final blows happen at the same time. Yes, and underwater as well.
I think they just both just like got up close
like that.
And one there, like
they both had the final blow there, unfortunately, and it shows, just the bloody murky water with the Psy floating by itself, and that's Raph's staff.
Picture of the Psy.
That actually made me so, because Raph is my favorite, and it made me so sad. Like, I got like a little emotional because it's like just seeing the hatred for it and what he, we all know how much they love Spencer. I mean, they go to hell and back for him. Like, they respect him so much. So to see that, and like they get into each of their deaths, even with the rest, not just the turtles, but some of the rest of them as well that we'll get into. That was intense. I mean, that whole 10 pages straight that are intense.
There's no way Raph was gonna go out. Like,
yeah, but I mean, it also made me smile a bit because, again, that's the way I would want him to go out if they were going to show something like that.
Exactly.
It wasn't like, some bullshit backstab, he got shot or something. So yeah, let me look at some of my notes here again too. It keeps closing on me. So yeah, so we see the war between the Foot and the Mono clans. They kill each other. Unfortunately, that is Raph's death. then we get to see the turtles are now more vivid in Mikey's mind. But in the beginning, like in part 1, we only saw the turtles speaking to him. They were just text boxes. They weren't actually there. But now they're actually showing it in part 2 of them actually being in the room with him.
And they actually have their colored masks now, rather than just
yes. Because they're like, oh, you know who it is. It's fine. Yeah. So now they're just like going into it.
This reveal of it being Mikey happened a lot earlier than I remembered it happening.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, it's chapter 1. Like, I thought they would at least wait to the middle, maybe like part 3. I was like, oh, okay, they tell me now. But I think it's because they really want to set up the whole thing of like getting you prepared of how the rest of them went out and why he became the way he did. So I guess they had to do it more early on. And then there, even with Kai's introduction, I did put a question mark here of her ordering the ambush on Spencer, but then clearly I was wrong. We get into that later of why it's not. I just put like I thought maybe at the time that it was.
Yeah.
So it's a little. I think I got, besides the part 2, I think got the most emotional for me, maybe, except more at the end when we get to it, because besides Raph's death, it's also the first time, and I think in many years, where seeing April actually made him smile, because it's just something where he hasn't known about her for so long either, and he's like, you actually survived. Like,
it is such an awkward panel too.
It is, but it's like heartwarming because it's like you could tell how much they really miss each other, and talking about Casey and what happened with him too. So then,
and then we get the reveal.
Yes, she comes in
of the girl who
passed him up. Yeah,
it's funny. April calls out for Casey. And
that tricked me too. That did trick me.
Yeah. And Mikey's like, "What? What? He survived too? What?" Like,
he's like, "Casey, yeah." You actually, I love his reaction there. It's so well done.
And then Casey Marie Jones is the girl who saved his life, and is essentially the Carrie Kelly of this book.
You go, Mikey. So, dude, it's so well done, and even with Mikey, you could see the age in the turtles. Like, yeah, he's mutated. He's gonna probably live like another 100 years. Who knows? But the thing is that like there's age there. You can see the growth, how the mutation has made him bigger. The eyes are like more fine lined. Like it's showing age. I guess whatever age is for a turtle. So yeah, very well animated. But it was just great to see that, because that tripped me a bit too. I was like, no way. I was like, oh, that's the dog. That makes sense, giving her the father's name to pass it on. So no, it's great seeing like Casey Marie Jones there and how young she is, and of course going into that whole teenager thing. Again, more reminiscent of how you said with Batman and Robin, where when Robin's so young, how again just being like a rebellious teenager type of feel, like, and she kind of gives off that same vibe.
She talks about being the leader of the resistance against Hiroto. Yes,
and like who he met underground, and those are the guys that show up there and who she leads, but. Of course, that she's very rough around the edges.
We also see a shot of Hiroto training, and
that
one of the glorious things in the book.
Yeah,
there is just a skull being pecked apart by these crows.
And he's literally threatening the new captain. He's like, because the skull being picked apart was the old captain. So he's like, if you don't want that to happen to you, then you better find him. So, like, just to, again, each panel that Hiroto comes in, because they actually don't show him too often until I would say the final 2 parts. He's just here and there because they go more into the... Yeah, it's flashes of him, but even in those minor flashes where it's just like maybe 2 pages of him, it's like, it's really intense. They just want you to really ramp up this intensity of how... unhinged and evil he is. And you can even see with the crows, like what he did to the old captain when he's training with his own soldiers, and just there's just no like disregard for life, no honor, nothing. And that's mentioned multiple times throughout this comic. You said you guys want to know a fun fact? Turtles grow more in sunlight, like I had in the tank. Yeah, and don't they last for like I forgot how many years? Maybe I'm thinking sea turtles.
They can outlive people.
Right? Aren't they like 110 years or something? I keep forgetting.
Tortoises usually can outlive people. I think it's like 70 or 80, I want to say.
Oh, so that's why Raph was the biggest as well, because he always went out from under the sewers the most, since he isn't just muscle, but he got big because that's how turtles grow inside. Oh, yeah, because they're not all the same size either. I believe the most slender was Mikey. Mikey got the biggest. Yeah. Because he was the most slender. Because even Donnie actually had some bulk to him.
Well, we see in the next part that like Mikey goes to live outdoors in the mountains,
Yes.
which would definitely help there.
So that's when he's like fully outdoors.
This art
Yes.
style,
Please show
of,
that.
like, the
I love
flashback.
that.
This art
Look at
style is
that.
actually what the original Turtles art style was.
Oh, was
in
it?
like yeah, of like the original comic.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
Or
interesting.
it's emulating that style. It's not exactly, but like when you have the guys who originally created it, and they've gone through, you know, you grow as an artist over time.
Right.
It's not going to look exactly the same when you go back to try to do the original style.
Especially
But
you don't want to regress.
It is close enough to be like, oh, that's what you're trying to do. Okay.
Right. Because so as you can see, what we just showed was showing like, and this happens multiple times as we go more forward, but there are multiple sequences of just two completely different illustrations here, and it's great to see. Again, showing like that is a flashback. It's more monochrome, and what they go into finally touching up on the backstory of what Mikey went through, to look for Donnie and Splinter and everything. He was trying to go to Japan, and him literally going through like he did this all by like swimming and by foot, by the way. That's why he was stuck in the mountains. There was no transportation. He almost died multiple times, just because at one point they even make the joke of like, it stood out. I don't know why it stood out. I don't think this was like a poignant point in the comic, but it just stood out like when he's like, yeah, I went to the snow mountains and I'm cold-blooded. That wasn't good. And it was just like, because
it's like you can see the flashes of Mikey still in there, like where he makes little jokes every now and then, and it's like, oh yeah.
So maybe okay.
It's Mikey.
I'm actually glad you said that, because even in my own mind I was like, why is that funny to me? And maybe that's what I think, because I was like, it stood out in my mind even after I finished it. I just thought that line was funny.
You can imagine that being something Mikey would say, like,
reptiles.
That wasn't the best.
Reptiles need to be in warm weather, yeah. So like that's not good for them. And somehow he lived, probably due to the mutation. So I just want to say, because I think after this flashback it goes, we are at part 3, are we not?
Yeah. So like, just imagine this art style with like splashes of red every now and again, and that's exactly how the original comic looked.
Yes. And I love that entire sequence. Every time it pops up here, I just love seeing it, because it seems more like a sketch in a way, I want to say. Even though it is fully drawn out, like to go black.
Sketched.
Yeah, to go like black and white.
It's kind of trying to emulate the Frank Miller style as well.
Okay.
Because both the original Daredevil run that the original comic was a send up of, plus Dark Knight Rises, were both written by Frank Miller.
Oh, okay. So again, just like really taking that inspiration.
Yeah.
I really gotta read this now, because like it's so much like it. Like
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I fucked up. I should have had you read Dark Knight Rises first.
I know. And you know what? Honestly, it's good, because then I would have expected too much from reading this. So I guess I went in like just completely blindsided, or completely blind, not blindsided, but. So one thing because I'm actually opening the book here, I did take like more rough notes in my outline. But right before we get to part 3, I do like that when Casey opens Mikey's book, that it just says no peace there. So that pops up multiple times throughout the comic. And it's something where, for me, the way I interpret it, and I could be wrong, well, you may have had a different interpretation, but just more of like, no rest until him, finishing off the foot, like the Shredder family, that it's something where, and they go into it a bit, probably more in part 3 when we get to that part, but the whole point of part 1, where he was going after Hiroto and why he's doing it and what happened with the rest of them, is that basically finish him, well, the way Mikey interprets it is him finishing what Splinter was trying to do. Even though he was trying to go for peace, obviously that's not happening right now, and
There's
feels...
also a thematic homonym, homophone, where there's no peace, and then you could also, if you're just hearing it, know peace, knowing.
Okay.
Which leads into more of the finale stuff, but...
Right, knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah,
like kind of giving you
finding that peace that he has not had since.
So trying to find it,
yeah.
Like you said, it's been decades, so it's something where
there's like a little bit of a double meaning there.
Which is where at the end of part 1, when he was trying to kill himself, because it's for him, it's like, that was my mission and I failed. So like, for him, there is no peace until they're gone. Which unfortunately, when we get to the Donnie and Spencer part, we'll see, unfortunately, that's how it went down. But I love that Casey's so nosy and so interested in him, and like again, like nothing makes you feel older. You know, like I know being older myself now. When someone mentions something like even if it's like something from 2000, and they're like, "Oh, that's an oldie now" or something, and it's just like so. You know, she kind of says that to Mikey, where it's like, "Oh yeah, I heard so much about you like growing up. Like I thought you guys were a myth or something." So it's just so cute, and then of course, so this I don't know too much about because I have not read any other previous comics, and I kind of know them from the cartoon. I'm not sure if they really showed them, but right before we get into part 3, April pulls out that this thing from the fight with Baxter. What is he exactly?
He was like a robot scientist that helped them.
I know nothing about him. I don't remember him.
I barely know. Like,
let me actually I know I wrote
most of what I know about him is from this.
Yeah. So oh yeah, there we go. The future Professor Zayton Honeycutt. So that's when the end of the second chapter is really April putting Honeycutt's robotic head out, and Mikey's like, he's still around. So like, yeah. It's just something where again, that's not me not knowing who that is, but as we find out very shortly. Going into part 3, that has something to do with Baxter, which a lot of you know. And again, for me, not being a comic head, some of you that may have read TMNT maybe know more than me, but I just know Baxter as like the crazy villain that's like a giant bug. Like I don't know him as this human version of him that I saw here. So that also took me by surprise. The human
version was more from like the later series.
Oh, okay. So because he was a bug, right?
Like from like 2000s on, like yeah, I can vividly remember his voice.
Yeah, that's why Baxter was one of my favorite. I think he was one of the villains that stood out the most because he was just even his voice back then in the 80s was just so like extremely like I don't want to say raspy. Raspy's not the right word, but like almost like I guess nerdy. It's like very scientist.
I mainly know his voice from the 2003 and onward series where like he has kind of a low bassy voice.
Oh, does he? Okay, interesting. Because I thought that was what I was looking for. High pitched.
I think I want to say it's Phil Lamar doing his low voice.
You know, honestly, now that she said that,
it's similar to his Jon Stewart Green Lantern voice.
Because now she said that, I could actually see that fitting him here. Because even just the way he looks, I imagine him with a lower, deeper voice. Just how he looks like here. So, for those of you that remember Baxter from TMNT.
I could be getting my wires crossed, but that's how I remember Baxter Stockman.
Right, exactly. And then even here, this is where, we mentioned it already, but part 3 is where you find out right in the beginning when they're showing negotiations and that he is Karai's son. So, they said grandson, but I didn't know much about the mom. So for me, that was a bit more of something new on my end. I guess I just didn't know much about the mom to begin with.
Karai was Saki's daughter, and then he's the grandson.
And he's the grandson, so yeah, that's her son. So then they go into here. So this is where I actually want a bit more of your opinion on, because reading this whole beginning, we see that, in the Last Ronin part 3, it's fight or flight now. We get into more single panel again. I think part 1 and part 4, I think, are the only parts where it really shows, like, full page span, but here... Ooh. Okay, I gotta stand in front of it, I think. Does it show? Is it blurry? I can't tell.
It's blurry. I got it.
Yeah, so single panel again, this one is more like I feel like each of the beginning chapters are more to get you into like, okay, this is the part of the story it's going to be at right now, where now you're getting to know more about Hiroto, because of course we can't have a good villain if there's no backstory, and we know obviously about the Shredder and his mother. They show Karai die by Raph in part 2, but now it's like, what happened to him? Like, because people don't become... I mean, I could be wrong. I just don't truly believe that anyone's born unhinged. It's like, things can happen to you. There are events leading up to that. And it's something where here... and maybe you could explain a bit more, because I don't even know how to explain it to the podcast. But...
It goes from him, like, rising up to become the leader, and, like, of all of these warring families, he, like, brings them all to peace. And then it immediately cuts to him being a evil dictator in the next page.
Right. So that's where I want to talk with you, because even in my outline notes, I do have,
it doesn't really explain how he got from point A to point B.
That's what I want to talk to you about, because I'm like, because even in my head, I put in my notes, I was like, Karai's in a coma for 10 years. They explained that, how long she's been out of it, unfortunately, and he had to take over because of what happened. And, it might be in part 3, even in part 4, but they do get to a point of him later on, kind of cursing his mother because like of what happened to her. He feels it's her fault that he had to take over at such a young age, and he blames her for that. But it's something where she's in a coma for 10 years, and I read the same thing you did. I'm like, okay, the treaties are going well. It actually looked like he didn't want to follow in his grandfather's and mother's footsteps. He's like, I don't want to do what the Shredder and Karai did. Let's actually do a peace treaty. And that's why it goes into the flashback of Donnie and Splinter going to meet him for that. But it's like, what the fuck happened? They don't explain anything, and I thought maybe you knew a bit more backstory of why he just turned evil. Like,
well, this is an original character for the.
Oh, is it?
This book. Yeah.
Oh, so you don't know? Okay, so
everything you know about him is what's in the book.
Oh, so that's unfortunate because I was like, okay, they're gonna finally go into like maybe something happened that made him snap, but maybe again.
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
What I can infer and what I'm assuming is that as he became like the head of all of these families that were all warring against each other, that plus being the leader of the Foot,
right,
plus the amount of power, it all went to his head. Like,
that's what I'm thinking too. I mean, especially
he just fell down this path of like being a straight up dictator.
I basically had to fall under that assumption too, that because it is mentioned multiple times, and he says it himself in the comic of just how I'm so young, I'm too young to do this. Like I have to finish what they started because they couldn't do it, and you see him so much of really berating himself. I would say is the best way to do it. So yeah, I'm wondering if it's in this part because I really enjoy that part of Hiroto finally showing more of a human side where he isn't just a dictator murdering people. It's the part I'm talking about is when he's going through the rafters in the rain, and then he mentions how like he blames his mom and how he feels about her.
That is either part 4 or part 5, I think.
Right, it's a little later, and it's probably not in this part, but I really enjoyed that part of really seeing more of a human side to him.
Oh no, it's actually not too far forward in part 3.
Right,
we'll get there.
Yeah, and we'll get there. So,
it felt way later. But
yeah, that's why I was like, in my head it was part 4, but that's why I was like, wait, no, it's early on. Okay, so. And, even in my notes here, I put, more that Casey is so much like the turtle, specifically Mikey, because, like, I think that's why Mikey sometimes smiles at her, because she is so hot-headed, but it reminds me of Mikey back then. And I think it's, like...
And that's another Dark Knight Rises thing, where there's a lot of times where Batman will be looking at Carrie Kelly and being like, I see myself in her, or I see, like, Dick in her.
The old self.
Or Tim, or, like... Oh, actually, No, Tim wasn't around at that point. So like he's just seeing he's seeing classic Robin and also bits of himself in this girl who is now taking on the mantle. And yeah, it's the relationship between Mikey and Casey is very similar. Like but yeah.
No.
Like, you can easily see where the inspirations were for.
See that? No, I'm glad you're harking back so much because I definitely when we read it, I'm gonna pay close attention to that. Now it's I could kind of do it in the opposite direction of really seeing in TMNT what they did in Dark Knight. So yeah, even one of the panels here, you could probably show it a bit more, but. Even how, again, just his power over the city and how much of a dictator he is, if you really want to truly feel that, I would say, is that page 4 or 5, right after? Yes, that one where it shows his hologram. You really feel the oppression of and how he's much taller.
Everyone.
Yes. So I think they did such a good job of really, he is hovering over this entire city and how much he controls what's going on.
And he's sending his foot police to, essentially martial law the city.
Right, exactly. So then it's a bit more, I keep forgetting at the end of part 2 they just show Casey pulling the head out, but I guess that wasn't poignant for me because I didn't know what that was or who this character Honeycutt really is. And then now in part 3 is when Mikey walks in. So I made that mistake. I thought at the end of part 2 just showed the head, but part 3 is when Mikey walks in to see Honeycutt and he calls him out.
Fugitoid was him in the robot.
Yes, exactly there. So then they actually show Baxter. Baxter actually looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know this version of him. Even though he's super villainous. And now this is supposed to be more.
Looks like a scientist, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So, in part 2, we got to see Raph's death. They did show Splinter on the table with the arrows, but they didn't really show him die at this point. And in part 3, they show Splinter again. So this is of course before his death as well. And unfortunately, we get to see where they're raiding the Baxter compound. So I believe, and they did this with Professor Honeycutt. So because he's able to hack into systems, that's what the robot really is for. That I believe the way that they explained it is that his consciousness is transferred into this android, like it's his mind that's in there. Mm-hmm. So they raid the compound. Leo's with them. I believe Donnie and Spencer are going to Japan to try to do a peace treaty, so they're not here. So it's more with Leo and Casey are here, and Raph already. If you remember, Raph ran out on his own, so they don't even know about Raph's death yet. I believe. He's already gone. So they're all split apart. Just like in a horror movie, you should never split up, but they did. So I actually have that marked here, unfortunately, as like Leo and Casey's last stand here. So
yeah, and you see the first of the synthetic foot.
I think this is when the Singers are first introduced, right?
Yeah,
because they're all. So again, I like how they, because Baxter definitely, and even back in the 80s, I mean, he was just more like funny villain back then, even though he was bad. I think when you see more of a serious Baxter where he doesn't care about anyone but himself, just like Hiroto, and they actually do give a callback to it where like Hiroto and Baxter actually are not friends. He helps him, but he doesn't give a shit. And either does not give a shit about the other. So like it's definitely something where Baxter has, even though he's helping Hiroto in quotations, he definitely has his own plan to take over for certain things. He
always does.
And he always does. Baxter is a backstabber from day one. Like that's just who he is.
The Starscream of the villain too.
He's a Starscream.
Let's be honest.
That is such a good correlation. Oh my god, not Starscream. Starscream is a true asshole.
Oh yeah.
So the only thing that I may have missed out on a bit, because I felt like it jumped right into it, maybe you picked up on it a bit more. Why are they raiding the Baxter compound? I don't know if I really picked up on why. I just know that they are. And I know that Honeycutt gave them the information, like the layout of his compound to be able to raid it, but I don't know why they want to do so. I believe they're trying to grab something. So it's something, Baxter Stockman to capture. So Baxter I know wants the Fugitoid, so maybe I took it as more they're trying to get the jump before Baxter attacks them, to jump him first.
I think so.
Because Baxter is trying to kill people for this Fugitoid. He wants Honeycutt's mind. He wants the information that he has, because that's who Baxter is. Him being a serious scientist, he wants all that info for himself. So I took it more as like, hey, let's actually do a preemptive attack on him. So this was a surprise attack in this compound at Baxter's. Mm-hmm. So, and I put I put this as a funny thing. We could show some of the battle sequences, but really more, they show Casey's team going in there. You have with Casey, not daughter Casey, the actual Casey at the time. Casey Jones. Mm-hmm. You see Casey Jones. You see the other turtles, and it's something where when they go into this compound, you can even see Mikey. Mikey's there with the orange bandana. He's got it on. And he's there with Leo and Casey Jones. And when they get in there, it's a funny part because they harken back to it at the end. But when he said "You shall not pass," I just started laughing because it's such a Gandalf thing. With Fugitoid, and he has like a self-exploding thing, so Baxter couldn't take him. So Baxter actually ends up capturing the Fugitoid. Oh, ill.
Well, he tries.
Sorry, Viewbot ban.
Oh. Yeah.
No, not at all. I could do it too. Yes. So with the Fugitoid, he does end up capturing him. They're getting, again, how we mentioned the Mausers before. Leo and Casey are getting jumped by these Mausers. They see the Synthetic Ninja. The Synthetic Ninja are almost no match for them. Casey even was having a pretty decent time with them. So that's when Baxter, I feel like it's his next level security, almost like Last Line of Defense. These Mausers come out in swarms. Like I would almost even dare to say hundreds. I'm not even sure. It's crazy how many of them there are. And then that's when we see more or less where Leo and Casey are finally having a really difficult time and they're starting to go down a bit. But unfortunately, it's the explosion that really does them in. So I believe the explosion...
Because that Baxter's about to get Fugitoid.
Yeah.
And Fugitoid basically goes, well, I'll self-destruct before you do that.
Yeah.
And then Baxter's like, okay, if I can't have you, no one can. And he detonates every single Mauser in a giant explosion.
Yeah.
Which is this very beautiful but haunting.
Yeah, I mean, I will say everyone's death, Raph's death. This is Leo and Casey's death, unfortunately. Like, it is just so like you feel the heartache. Like it's, and you could and look, and then even though it spans both panels, it's like technically it's two separate pages because the left side's showing like the doom, like the huge explosion.
Yeah, it's two completely separate panels, but like
it almost looks like that they're spanning together, almost connected.
Yeah,
but, and then
it's got the color theming is like very much matched, and yeah, the contrast of like the big bright explosion and then like getting the darkness of the final panel.
No, I agree, the coolest.
Great contrast.
Yeah, just even seeing like unfortunately, it's like you see the sword in the ground, you see the Casey's mask, so that's unfortunately them two are gone. But then this is when they go into it's like wait, Mikey was with them, how did he survive? So because I think in this explosion is when everyone assumed they were dead. So if anything, that worked in Mikey's favor because it could have been like when someone fakes their own death and they go into hiding. So it kind of worked in his favor where they never bothered to search for him. And I believe this is where they get into more. Oh, there's a page here with Casey. I mean, I'm not sure if we even need to get into that. But I think that's just Casey like trying to help some of the citizens that are being put into this martial law. That's why
showing her being like at the ground level of this martial law going on. Also,
trying to
did
help.
it bother you as much as it bothered me that she looks like she's two very different ages from the first time we see her to the like every other time that we see her.
Yeah, so that's why even
she
here
looked way younger the first time she showed up. And
now she's like
and
mature.
then now it's like she's like an adult. Like
yeah, she looks very adult. That's the panel. I was just like, yeah, that's what I just turned the page to because I was like, she does look different. Where it was to the point where I almost thought it was someone else for like a quick second.
Like I knew it wasn't, but like this is the first time she shows up. And it's very Dark Knight Rises, but like she looks like she's Carrie Kelly's age, and
she looks like almost teen, maybe 18.
Yeah, and then she's like an adult, like literally in the same.
It
was a little jarring.
So
I was like, I guess that is the same character. Okay.
Yeah, and I kind of skipped over that because it looks like she was just helping the citizens because basically during that martial law with the giant hologram was like, no one can leave the city. You're, getting them back into their houses now, and then all of a sudden all his cybernetic guards are attacking the citizens. So Casey's trying to help them. So this is something where they're all starting to loot. It's crazy. Like it's just there's a little chaos above ground while we have this fight going on at Baxter's compound. There's so much chaos in the city itself. So
and then we get a flashback from April's perspective of what happened post explosion. She lost an arm and a leg
because she was caught in that too.
And like trying to, and it's back to this flashback art, which I love.
Right, like her doing physical therapy.
Yeah.
And she's pregnant, so that's when she, it says that she was in a coma for a week. She went through physical therapy, and she was pregnant with Casey at the time. So the fact that her and Mikey even survived was absolutely insane. I think Mikey ended up going underground. Yeah, because it shows like how Mikey survived the explosion, stowed away, and then he stowed away on a plane to Japan to find his father and slash master. I put it both because they basically their father. And that's why Donnie and Splinter are still alive. So they went to Japan for the treaty. They're at Baxter's compound with literally everyone else because it was Leo, Mikey, April, and Casey. And April survived there. And then this is where we were just talking about earlier, Hiroto's moment of weakness in the rain.
Which is so 90s.
Oh,
like
yeah.
It hurt.
I mean,
like this is
that panel there is so Batman. Like the way he would just sit there on top of
you know what it is? It's so like Kane from Spider-Man. Like
I can see that too. Have you played the Soul Reaver games? Legacy of Kane, Soul Reaver? No. Have you played those games?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. The character.
I'm saying Kane from Spider-Man.
Oh no! I know Kane from Spider-Man. I just meant like that. Even his picture there. The character in that game has an exact scarf like that that's flowing in the wind, and he sits like that, like a gargoyle, like sitting on top.
It is so 90s, it hurts.
Yes. Oh, and like, that game.
This is out of a Spawn comic. This is out of.
It's crazy.
Like literally, he has the same hood as Kane does originally.
It's funny you say that because that video game also came out like 1997, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
so it's very 90s, like literally same scarf, same stance, everything. And here's where I got to see a bit more where, you know, you already hate him at this point as a reader. You know he's unhinged, you know what he's doing to his own guards, like no disregard for anyone's life, especially the own citizens that he's supposed to watch over, but he sees it as controlling. And
then you see him disregard his own life. Like,
yeah,
he really doesn't care about anything.
No, it's great. I mean, even at one point where you almost feel it's like where his facial expression for the first time changes. Instead of being so serious and like I'm gonna murder people and I'm evil, like he actually becomes a little sad when he's thinking about his mom, and it's just something. And then
and then he starts doing like this parkour segment through the rooftops, and then trips, and then almost he grabs onto a cable, which then snaps, and he starts falling, and he has this like big smile and starts laughing as he's like seemingly plunging to his death.
I think he almost, I mean, in some ways because of the burden that was left upon him, or the burden that he feels that his mother did to him, even though I don't see it like that, but that's how he feels. And it's something where, you know, like you could even interpret that sequence as like he was happy he was falling, like he just wanted it to end, you know, type of thing. So it's just like
he doesn't care about himself.
And again, it's like it also tricked me a bit because when it shows him like finally having a more sadder emotional face, thinking about his mom, I was like, okay, like he actually does care about something other than himself. It's not even him caring about the mom. It's just like he's just him being mad at her that he has all this responsibility now. So it's always me with him. Like there is no care about anyone but himself. And then even in this sequence where you said like it's not even himself at this point. So I thought that was a very important sequence to touch up on because it finally showed some more humanity to him as opposed to just being unhinged.
And then he gets saved by one of his robots because of course he does.
Right, because they immediately swoop him through the air, and just even the way he's falling, even the panel where he's like, like just typical 90s stuff. Like it's so over exaggerated, cartoony 90s. Like it's too funny. Yes, please show that. Yeah, like him holding his head, like it's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. I thought it was ridiculous. I actually kind of giggled at that part a little bit.
Yeah, part of him like falling.
Yeah, look at it. It like you know like anime characters.
It is so 90s.
It's so 90s. It even reminds me of some anime when they're falling like to their death and they're just reminiscing about their past. Just like that's literally what he was doing. He's like, I'm just gonna die now. It's fine. And then the robot saves him. So what else do I have here? April's plan to shut down Baxter. So I believe here's when we have a bigger fight amongst all of them.
Well, before that, we have April introducing Mikey to the battle wagon.
That's all
the
of
new
her people.
version
Yes,
of it.
yeah. That's all of Casey's group.
Well, this was originally their vehicle when they were.
Oh, the vehicle. You mean? I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Originally it was like a pizza van that they had modified to fire like manhole covers and stuff.
Yeah.
And
so
once again we have a reference to Dark Knight Rises, where Batman turns the Batmobile into a tank.
Yes. Oh my God.
We have them turning the battle wagon into a tank.
That's why I'm glad you touched upon it because I just again my memory is always a bit blurry with the Turtles. It was so many years ago, but I feel like I've seen that tank multiple times. She just kind of like you said updated it. That's something that they had before, right?
It's a pizza van,
and that she just made it into more of a tank version.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because
to do this whole war.
Right, because they're talking about the war, they're arguing about it, and I think at that point is when she's literally pulling him away because Mikey and Casey are getting into it. Like, Casey's like, you know, I'm not going to take some advice from some turtle that tried to kill himself, and he's like 30 years old. Like, from 30 years ago, you don't even know how he lived now. And Casey made some good points, but she is very rash and doesn't really understand where Mikey's coming from. But to be fair, I don't think Mikey's giving her a chance either. So it's something where you can't really blame Mikey. I mean, what I like here is that seeing the evolution, right? Mikey was always the carefree, I can fight, whatever, I have the pizza in my mouth, I'm killing everybody, but he wasn't the smart one, usually Donnie was. So in this scene, it's kind of, I like that throughout the entire run here, you're seeing little bits of each of his brothers come out in him, where like, of course you see Raph more in the beginning, but it's like, more of that level-headedness from Leo and Donnie as well, where it's like, so you're trying to go in there on a hope that it might work, because you're gonna resurrect Honeycutt, which the second you resurrect him, it might actually give out our location. And then on the hope,
that's how they found them to begin with.
That's how they found them the first time, and then which they didn't know, so they're learning from that. And then even if we get him in there on the chance that he might turn on and actually work, so like, Mikey makes some very good compelling points of why they shouldn't be doing this, but at the same time, it's a do or die at this point. Like, what are we going to do? He's gonna come after us. So and then it gets into that part of like, okay, here's the tank. And when I saw that, I had to say my jaw dropped. I was like, damn, this girl has weapons everywhere and a tank. Like, she is that is prepared. And
it's supposed to hit even more with it being like, oh, that's the battle wagon that they've just absolutely changed.
I know, and I love it. And then one of my favorite parts, probably aside from the double page span of part 1, is part 4. I love this.
Oh yeah,
showing this with Casey, because it's the first time that she goes, "Okay, Sensei," and I was like, "Sensei!" I was like, "Yes!" I was so happy to see Mikey teach her, and he's going back to the Black Mask too.
Yeah.
But thank you for showing that. He's in his
full uniform. She's in now her full uniform.
That double page span is
very
beautiful.
Very Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, is it? Is it like the same thing again? Okay.
Because there's one point where Batman and Carrie lead this group called the Sons of Batman, while Gotham is in a blackout.
Oh, you know what's funny that I know you didn't mention it to me at all until the podcast about it's somewhat being related to Dark Knight Rises. But even as I was reading this, the second I saw this like part 4 panel, I was like, she looks a lot like Robin. like almost dressed like him. Does. Exactly. Like I was like, I know this is not DC. So I was like, I was a little, because even, obviously he's more ninja dressed, but he even has like a bit more abrasive here, because Batman probably wouldn't look like this. But still, like, it's very Batman Robin together in this part 4 page spread. So I love that there. And again, it's just like, I love that she called him Sensei, and I was excited to be like, oh, he's teaching her. I love that, because she needs that. So again,
then
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, where were you going with it?
No, I was just going to introduce part 4. So please go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was going to the next page. So.
Oh, please. Sorry. So yeah, part 4 is called Blood in the Snow, and this is where, again, just like we saw in part 1, they are. Well, I believe part 4 is reading the Baxter compound, not Hiroto yet. I believe it's Baxter compound first. Yes. Yeah.
And we see Baxter looking absolutely just like he's not aged well.
Yeah. And he I think to keep himself alive.
Number on him too.
Yeah.
And this is the upgraded version of the Krangbot.
Oh, is that what that's supposed to be?
Yeah, that's why there's the red skull in the stomach area there.
You know what it reminds me almost of, like, well, no, the Technodrome is the entire drone, but I guess, yeah, because isn't there, like, the Krangbot that it could actually run on wheels like that, too? Like, I know it has legs, but I think he could. I think he's able to change that bot into multiple different forms.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, like the wheels of a tank, like those type of, I don't know what they're called. Those type of like
treads.
They're tread. He actually has Krang has a version of that where he's on treads instead of legs. Yeah,
I don't think I've seen that.
No, I'll look it up. I mean, I'm sure. I hope I'm not lying. I'm pretty sure. But this one actually is pretty cool.
Then we have our third iteration of Casey.
Yeah, because now
she even more different.
I mean, I like how much time has passed between all these parts, because this girl went from like
that long.
That's why this girl went from like preteen to young adult, like where she almost looks like full adult now in that red jumpsuit, and it's just like, what the hell? Especially with the shorter haircut, I think it just also makes her look more powerful, like more adult.
Well, I think this is it's supposed to technically be like the same variation of the last one that we saw,
yes,
but like just with shorter hair. But like she just looks so vastly different every single time that we see her.
For real. Oh my god, no, it's crazy. I just absolutely love, so it's basically, the next few pages are a whole sequence of She's training
her,
and Mikey's there with her, and he's like, "What are you doing?" Like, because it just he's looking at her and just laughing because he feels like he's like, "Yeah, try any of that in an actual battle." And then, when she tries to even hit him, she doesn't land any hit, and then he's like, "I think you need some actual training." And she literally hugs him and almost cries and like calls him sensei. And it's like, it's so good because like she knows she's good and she has the energy, but she needs to refine her skills. And then probably the best part in this entire book, as much as I love the ending part, obviously in part 5, Splinter is a fucking beast. And I love this whole set. This is when they show why he's the master. Like, holy shit. We get
the flashback to
I was screaming during this section. I was like, Splinter is so cool. I was like,
Splinter and Donnie in Japan.
Oh, I was fangirling there. It was so good. Yeah, I literally put in my notes, Master Splinter going ham. So I just put it in my notes. So, so the whole reason that they even go to the flashback is that Shinichiro, which is a friend of Splinter's that's in Japan, Mikey goes there to look for them. And then he goes, "Oh, so where are they? Hey, I came here for them after, the explosion and everything." And he's like, "I need to sit you down." And then that's when he's going to try, and now it goes into, unfortunately, Donnie and Splinter's death. So this is where now it does the flashback. And again, just more heartbreak, like really feeling Mikey's heartbreak throughout all these, throughout this run.
And we see Hiroto's proto shredder armor, which is so ridiculous.
He looks so like I couldn't even take him seriously in that.
He looks so bulky.
It's like I could not take Hiroto seriously in that. I honestly thought it was a joke. I was like, bro, like, you are trying to be so hard to be like, I'm the leader. Like I said in the beginning, a true leader does not need to dress or look that way.
He's trying so hard to be his grandpa, and he's not.
Yeah. And Shredder at least had more sense. He's also just really stupid and knows nothing about war.
But this panel in particular,
yes,
is one of my favorites.
Because he literally
the blood trail.
Insane.
Oh my god.
I mean, even when, and for anyone who doesn't know, what they're showing in that panel is that isn't really like one person. He literally did like a, like something you would see in anime or video games where like he went through like 5 people in one slice. Like he decapitated multiple people
literally
at once.
There's these 4 guys and then
he literally just went like it was like that one quick swipe. Like that was so. I could look at that panel 100 times.
This is gonna stick with me.
Because I think, and it's
cutting a guy in half.
As graphic as Raph scene was in part 2, it did not beat that specific panel right there.
They had to show
insane.
why Splinter is the master.
Yeah, like do not fuck with me. Like he does not need to even get super angry. It's like. It's so funny. I don't even know how to describe it because it's coming through reading as opposed to an animation, but which I guess that's a great job in the illustrator and the writer. But it's just something where I can almost even feel, like even just watching it, how swiftly he was using that sword. You could tell it wasn't like these hard swings, like just very like kind of like the wind type of thing.
You can tell by the blood trail. That's what's like that's the part that's really like showing how smooth it is.
Yes.
Because he's practically painting.
Yeah, no, and like literally, especially during snow. So it's I love battles in snow because it's just like the red blood against the contrast of the snow. So no, I absolutely love it, and I could reread that 100 times. And for the most part, they go there. They basically show that they're gonna go meet them with Shinichiro. He's leading Donnie and Spencer to the meeting ground of where Hiroto is. Takes them to basically a cemetery, which, Donnie's like, is this a joke? Like, why would you even put that here? Like, this is a really messed up place to even meet. And Spencer's still trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's like, look, maybe it's just something I'm going to try to let that go. This is the meeting place. And unfortunately that was on purpose because out of nowhere they get attacked. So, and it's so funny because I don't think they showed the guy's name. Maybe they did. Maybe I can't remember it. But the guy that meets them there before Hiroto shows up is like, oh, I thought we said no weapons. And he's doing all that bullshit. And Splinter's like, I don't trust you. So, like, it just,
what's the line? He's got,
because they were trying very hard for Donnie and Splinter to put down their weapons. Like they were really trying.
I would not have brought a weapon if I trusted him.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's why it's ridiculous.
Oh, also, I missed this panel earlier of Splinter just triple beheading.
Yes, I'm telling you, oh my, and literally how it goes, shh, like I love how they spell out like actions. So it's like,
yeah,
shh.
the onomatopoeia is so good.
It's so good, and I felt it. I was like, ooh, that he did that in one swift strike. like did you know how hard it is to even like I always talk about it too because like I think animes and cartoons make it look so easy, but even when they look at beheadings like back in the day, like in samurais, Japan and everything, I believe what they used to do is that if you couldn't behead someone in one strike, I think they would have someone follow up to make sure the person died, you know, with as little pain as possible. Because sometimes slicing through the neck is not easy. So when you have someone here who just did 3 in a row like that, like it was a knife through butter, that's some intense shit. Again, sorry I'm like harking on this specific part so much, but I think it's my absolute favorite part in the entire.
No, it's a great moment.
Yeah. Just because really seeing Splinter's rage, and you also, and I could be wrong, I didn't see the 2003 version, but just even watching the 80s cartoon, Spencer is always calm, cool, and collected. It's very rare you see him upset, like overly angry, and here there's actual rage here. It's a little different.
Whenever Splinter starts to lose it, that's when you know that shit's about to go down.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, dude, Splinter's angry. This is not gonna go. And honestly, I'm a little upset that it came more to a backstab because I was looking for kind of like a final stand between Hiroto and Splinter. And obviously, like, I knew even before getting to the last part that they're not gonna show him defeating Hiroto because that they're gonna leave it for Mikey. But still, like, I wish it would have been more of a fight.
The thing is, Splinter doesn't really have much of a connection to Hiroto. He had more of a connection to Saki.
Ooh, sorry. Minimized. There we go.
Oh.
No, we're back.
Yeah, he had more of a connection to Saki than Hiroto. And they had a lot of showdowns one-on-one against each other. But when it came down to Hiroto, it's like Hiroto's going to stab you in the back because he's not as good as Saki. He wants to say he is.
Yeah.
He wants everyone to believe that he is, but he's not Saki.
No. And I like that you said that too, because even in these panels, I felt it too. I was like, oh, he's scared because he knows Spencer. I mean, even if let's say you never heard anything about Master Spencer and you're meeting him for the first time here. Like, and I'm Hiroto. And I'm seeing this guy just decapitate 10 heads in a row. Like, you know, like, I'm not gonna fuck with him. Like, you know, it's just like, you know, and I know my skill level, like, I'm not fucking with him. And it's just like, so again, typical villain that is too scared to actually fight with honor, because Hiroto clearly doesn't have any. Unfortunately, he calls in the archers. And actually, what I like here is that Hiroto, because he's so vain, like, if anything, I think his own soldiers saved him. His general saved him, because the general was like, we're ready with the archers, you want us to shoot? And he's like, no, I want to fight Spencer on my own, do not do it. So Hiroto actually here didn't even call it in. He was like, wait until my mark, and the general actually did it early. And if anything, that saved Hiroto's life, because Spencer 1000% would have killed him. There's no way. So, like,
because he's not as good as Saki.
No, he's nowhere near. And even back then, like, I mean, because there were times where Shredder really fucked Splinter up. I mean, they and you know, they grew up fighting together, so that made sense. They had the same, like, sparring. So it's just like, you know, if anything, the general saved his life. Unfortunately, what came with that, because it just hurts, because Spencer, out of all people, you don't expect him to ever lose his cool, and unfortunately, him not wanting to retreat cost Donnie his life, and even his own, because like Donnie said, we need to leave now, and Donnie
they fire the archers right as Splinter throws his sword, and catches Hiroto in like the shoulder area, but so, the arrows take Donnie and Splinter.
Yeah, Shinichiro actually survives and takes the bow staff and his sword back. And that's when he gives it to Mikey, and it ends there. Mikey finds out what happened. So he offers to stay there, but you know, Mikey's like, if I stay here, it'll just remind me of them too much. So he
I love this image of, and I just started walking.
Yeah, because it's just like, what do you do? It's like, for me, I took that as like, I gotta take my mind off of it. Like,
there's so much anger and grief and pain all at once, and he just
Yeah.
keeps going, and he has never stopped.
It's crazy in one panel. Like it's so funny you pointed that out because besides the cool-blooded joke that I just if stayed in my head, that's in my head too. And it's like, and I just started walking. That's all it was.
Mm-hmm.
And like you knew the grief and what he was going through, and there's anger there too, but more of like him grieving, and it's just you could feel that there, and it's just so sad because like it's possible that Donnie could have survived, maybe even Splinter could have survived himself if he wasn't so consumed by his anger at that point. So that's a shame. So that's what happened with Donnie and Splinter, and Shinichiro survived that.
And then we flash back forward to the assault on Baxter's compound.
Yes. So, I think I have my notes here. It says, yeah. So they actually show something with Casey because it says that they show it here with her having that mutagen DNA.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something where he just finds out, but Casey doesn't know herself yet. So it's something where she knows she's different. She knows something's wrong with her, but he's training her and he's seeing it. He's like, well, when are you gonna tell me? And April's like, what do you mean? And it's something. So that's a big shocker for me too, where it's like she has immunity DNA, and I'm like, oh my god.
And apparently, Mikey being around April and Casey, or just the turtles being around them, somehow like kind of radiation affected their DNA.
Well,
which has then led to Casey being a mutant.
Which I kind of guess too, even from watching the '80s cartoon, because when it's like a green goose like that, that's usually radiation.
Oh yeah.
So it's like yeah, you were just hanging around radiated people, or turtles, but it's just it's so funny because like
honestly, it's shocking they were able to have a kid.
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe because they just both had it, because Casey must have had it too, Casey Jones. But it's something where yeah, and they just had birth to a regular human being at least. At least she doesn't look deformed. But because mutations can happen that way. But it is something where even though Mikey blames her, I didn't get mad at it. I know it seems shocking where it's like, why would he even blame April or something like that? But he's like, did you inject her? Because in my mind, I was like, how? Because like, I guess you don't really think of the airborne thing or just being around them. Yeah. But I kind of almost thought that too. I was like, oh my god, that April do some crazy shit and do something to her daughter. I kind of believed it. So when Mikey said it, I think he was just saying what the readers were thinking.
Yeah.
Because I
it's like, well, how the hell did this happen?
Yeah,
and
like
then you start thinking about all the variables.
Yeah, and it's like, ooh. So then it actually for a second, just a quick second, because April quickly clarifies it. But it's just that like where I looked at her differently because I was like, oh no, did you do something to your own daughter? Maybe just try to make her survive because they were on their own without the turtles. I don't know, but I'm glad it wasn't that. So like you said, so I'll let you talk more into the flashback to Baxter's compound.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's just the full-on assault. Things are starting to go wrong. The Mausers start to come out. There's, like, turrets that are taking out people. And Mikey is just working overtime, just trying to get one thing after another. And he's constantly hearing his brothers in his mind that are, like, almost... like trying to tell him what to do, trying to almost criticizing him at some points.
Well, he like has full-on arguments with them when they're not there.
Yeah.
So, like, he's literally arguing with them.
Meanwhile, he's also trying to do all of this like massive assault. And honestly, he probably would have something probably would have happened if not for the battle wagon showing up in a nice 2-page spread here.
Oh, yes. So leading up to that, just real quick, I'll make it short, but it's just that they had
I know I skipped over stuff.
No, it's good. No, I know that's what we want to do. That's okay. But just for anyone that's wondering, the reason that even had to happen is because they were losing a bit there. Mikey was not even sure what to do. He's like, I think at one point during this battle, Mikey was almost like, oh shit, we're not gonna win this.
And then like a wave of Mausers come in, and it's like, oh.
And again, what happened back in part 2, showing the compound when Leo and Casey died. Now it's like, oh shit, this is happening again. So this is basically now it's I like in the earlier parts of the book, they're just in the comic that they're showing, them trying to do like almost like a revisit to these battles. So
and again, this is a very Dark Knight Rises thing, because at one point, so part 1 is Batman dealing with this gang called the Mutants, and
the Mutants,
and it it has a big climb. It's not near the end of the part or anything, but Batman storms. They're like they're all in like a junkyard, and Batman storms it with the bat tank.
The bat tank. I love that.
It is very similar to everything that like is about to happen here.
Oh my god, the bat tank. That is great.
There is no other way to describe that. It has full-on treads. It has a cannon. It has machine guns, but all of the rounds are non-lethal. So.
Oh, but yeah, it's Batman. Because I'm not killing people, but I'll knock you out. Yeah. I'll just break all your bones in your body.
There's specifically a point where, like, after he takes out, like it looks like he kills a bunch of people, and then the Batmobile computer is like, no fatalities, and no casualties, and he's like, good.
It's like concussion blasts.
So it's like rubber bullets and like bean bags and stuff.
Yes. So basically at that point too, it's just more of, they thought they were losing the battle, and when April comes in, as Wolfie just showed in that panel, it's because she was late and they thought she may have even died, or they got her early, because they're like, where is she? Casey's like, Mom, where are you? Like, it keeps saying it over and over again, because there's just so many of these, and the whole time this is happening, I just want to touch on a quick funny part, because the whole time Baxter has a droid with him that's like a security droid, and the droid's warning him. They're like, I think you should back down. And they're like, no, send out more forces. And then they kill those forces. Then April comes in, EMPs all the Mausers, and then the security spot is like, I really, really think you should rethink this and retreat. Like, it's just so funny because it's trying to warn him, like, we're not gonna get through this. So it was just, I just thought that was funny. But you could go ahead.
I mean, yeah, that is that. Then she goes to plug in Honeycut. Excuse me.
Yes.
Hiccups. And it activates the tracker that Baxter had in him, and he's immediately like, "Wait, he's here? What?" Ow.
Yeah, because when she activates him, like, it's like, and they were right that it was just like, boom, they know exactly where they're at. But he's like, "Oh, he's next to me." Like, you good?
Yeah, I was having painful hiccups for a second.
Oh, okay. No, I know. I was like, I took so much water with me because that tends to happen when I'm talking too.
Yeah.
So then you could talk about this finale.
Like, out. And he himself starts going in towards the towards Honeycut, and he gets his hands on him, and Honeycut does the "you shall not pass."
I wanted you to touch on that because this is, I mean, it'll show better, but this panel right here, if you have it, beautiful. Yeah, I love this. Oh my god. Like, that.
Like he starts with, like, just a tiny little "you shall not pass," and then
"you shall not pass." Ugh.
Yeah, more and more, and just disintegrates Stockman into nano machines that he now controls.
Dude, I mean,
they just entirely take over the compound.
And it's insane because, like, yeah, Baxter's just, I mean, if you want to show on the next page too, the disintegration up on top, that's insane. Oh, yeah. That is, like, if you want to see what we mean, like, this is at the cellular level, like, he's gone. Mm-hmm. It's like,
all that's left are his nanites.
Yeah, he literally was just melted. So
nanomachines.
And I just love what he says here. "You shall pay for my family, for my friends, for everything," and then disintegrates him like that. Like, it was so powerful. Seeing Baxter go out like that, I was like, "Good, get that, dude." Yeah, it felt great. It felt great. Is there more part 4 before we go to part 5? I thought it ended there.
No, they just kind of they win. They the people start fighting back against the martial law. Everything is starting to go more like back to the good side winning.
Right.
And it has left a perfect opening to go and attack Hiroto. Oh, there's a spider on my wall. Okay.
Oh. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at that. You're like,
That was.
Do you want to kill it real quick, or you're good?
Just
You're like, I'm just gonna murder that thing real quick.
grab a shoe.
Let me put that there, and then you.
I know I didn't get it. There it is.
Sorry about that. I saw the green line on your screen, so I just wanted to fix that while you do that.
I got him, but I don't know where he went.
Perfect. There we go. Okay. Now, no green lines from Discord.
I don't know where the body went.
You said the body?
Yeah, I got him, but I don't know where he went.
Uh-oh.
His.
I was like, that can't be very good.
His blood is on the wall. But
It says. I love it.
all right, took care of it.
Another kill. That's great.
Yeah,
I love it.
It leaves the door open to attack Hiroto, but Mikey's hesitating.
Yeah, because I think.
And then we go into part 5, the Last Ronin.
And if you want to show that spread, that's a good spread too. I will say part 4 spread is probably my favorite.
Just in a full-on argument with his hallucination brothers.
Yeah, but it's so funny because like they didn't just make it as like, okay, Mikey's losing his mind. They made it as if he was legit because it has their personalities. Like it's like he's legit talking to the three of them. So like I like how they did that. Like it's as if they were there. It was so well done. Yeah, no, we didn't miss anything. That was,
and he's just kind of going like he has to do this on his own.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to sacrifice anyone else because of how the last thing went. Like even though they won, they still lost a lot of people.
They did.
And he doesn't want to sacrifice anyone else. And it's getting to a point where like his brothers are like, you've got to do this. You've got to keep pushing. You've got to keep pushing. And he eventually just snaps. And he holds up the weapons and he's like, this is all that I have left.
Of all of them, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think even Casey's masking everything, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And he's just like, I've had enough. Leave me. Leave now and never come. And before he's even done with his sentence, the hallucinations are gone.
Yeah. And
he's on his own.
And I think you feel that aloneness there. It's like you could feel how, but at the same time, it's like I took it as like this is what he needs right now. It's something where you need time to think on your own and really do this decision for yourself. Yeah, and I understand, with Casey and trying to save them in April and everything, but there's no way they're not going to be a part of this. This is a final stand for everyone. It's not just about him.
Mm-hmm.
So. So yeah, I put here even in my notes like possibly to go on a suicide mission ? Which again it was probably harking back to part 1 where he did try to do that, but now he has people with him, and then of course besides what I loved in part 4 was Spencer them getting into that final battle. So
yeah.
So I think part 5 is where really part 4 they introduced that martial law there. He has his hologram. Everyone is basically the robots are almost like. I wouldn't say killing them, but they were literally beating the citizens up if they were trying to grab them and force them back into their homes. So part 5 is when you see all the looting. They're everywhere, because it's got shut down. They actually shut down the city. They were able to connect into the network, and the city is in the darkness. But of course now
it's falling into chaos.
Yep, the looting and the riots are happening. So, now
it makes sense after being like put under severe martial law by a dictator that like as soon as there's freedom, fuck it all.
Yeah, it's fuck all. But I do like what Casey says, having riots everywhere with no real rebellion, because they were under the impression that like, okay, once we do this, it's gonna be almost this whole city trying to go against Hiroto, and they didn't. It was really again for themselves, and it's like these riots are going on, but there's no actual like end cause for this.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we do have a spread there about April telling Casey about her being a mutant. But I think Casey just kind of knew.
Well, first of all, we got one of a very, very good point here of
No, please.
Hiroto just breaking down, killing people nearby him because he can't reach Stockman. He's like,
Oh yeah,
out.
because he's like get Stockman on the
he
line.
is losing his shit.
Yes, because when the lights go off, because you gotta remember, like, Hiroto is very big on, like, I need to be in control 24/7. So, like, the fact when those lights go out and they can't put it back on, he's like, get Stockman on the line, because Stockman controls all of that. And then it's like, oh, he doesn't exist anymore. So it's just like, but he doesn't know that for a hot minute. He flips the fuck out.
Yep.
And then then it gets to April Lieutenant Casey, and of course, I'm not sure if there's anything before that, because right after that I do have here, showing the modern Shredder suit, like the updated version that Hiroto has.
It's just Mikey now once again storming the facility,
like he did in the first one.
Absolutely, like, and I love the color usage here. Like, it's like so red and so
yes. I mean, I just love
Mikey's just going on a spree.
You can see how many bodies are literally here, but I love here that he's even fighting these giant, like, night guards. That looks crazy too. It was very like dark. It was so Dark Souls for me. I loved it. The night, like, these I mean, I don't even know if they were stone or
giant dude.
Yes, I specifically love the angle of this panel because it shows the height. Like, it's like, whoa, he's towering over Mikey. I keep forgetting Mikey has these electrical tonfas that I love, by the way. They show those weapons often.
Which, that is very Nightwing.
That's why I was like, it's Nightwing.
He's... Which, I don't think Nightwing existed at the time.
No, he did. Like, where did the tonfas come from?
But, of, like, Dark Knight Rises.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, but yeah, these are a very Nightwing type weapon. He uses them against the birds. Who are robots, it shows.
Yeah, and he's very... That's why I saw him... Again, even before you told me all this, I was like, oh, Tonfa's Robin. Or Nightwing, actually. I just kept thinking back to Batman so much reading this. Even as a person, I didn't know that that's what it was. So again, showing that...
And then we finally see the bird creature that was the one who saved Hiroto when he fell. But it is this giant enemy. That's like...
Oh, that's that gargoyle thing that grabbed him and saved him, right?
Yeah, because this part down here.
Yeah, he's a lot bigger.
With the hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost exactly what it looked like when Hiroto was saved from falling. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gigantic. Yeah, because these two are like his personal guards. Like, they're huge. Yeah, I love how he's like a gargoyle, pretty much. Again, it just made me think so much of like Dark Souls. And then we see, he confronts Hiroto, finally getting to the top of the building yet again, just like in part 1. But, it's like, okay, let's hope that he actually survives this time. Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, I want to hear your thoughts on this suit.
So, just based on looks, just based on looks, I don't really like it. I will say that I like
it looks so terrible.
I like the properties of the suit and what it can do, because that's actually
the abilities are cool.
Yeah, I just like even looking at it.
This thing looks so dumb.
Yeah, the only time that I like it is more in this corner panel right there that you could see. That's the only time I like it. Where it's like it shows like a really more sinister look to it. I like that.
But just like Tron ass.
It looks like Tron. Yes, it's very Tron. Yeah. But you know what's funny is that in the next panel, it almost does away with it because it actually looks much cooler in the bigger page spread here.
Because he has the metal completely cover it.
Ah, yes, he has the metal cover. So, that looks cool.
So now it's like,
I love that. That looks much nicer.
I still think he looks way too small.
Yeah, I mean, I think Shredder was just also so bulky. Like, he was a big dude. Even though he was slender, he also intoned. He was also like, he had presence. Like, he was towering over you. Shredder was
but he's smaller than Mikey, and this is supposed to be the final battle.
Yeah, and Mikey's like big
really,
as hell.
I really don't like the size differential here. If the suit made like bulked up with the metal, I think that probably could have that could have worked a bit more, or even looked a bit more like classic Shredder with the metal. Like,
that's what I was thinking too. Maybe the classic Shredder,
because he's got the arm spikes, and then like the
shoulder spikes
part.
And everything. Yeah,
and then the rest of it is just blank. And
yeah, they could have done like maybe even like actual boots on him like Shredder had, or like the spiked boots and all that as well. I like the shoulder
Like
spikes.
I really hope for the adaptations that they do something with this.
He
'Cause it feels unfinished almost.
he looks like a shredder version of Silver Surfer.
Yeah, he does.
So it's just like
I was thinking more Terminator 2, but yeah.
oh yeah, liquid metal for sure, yeah, which is part of his suit, like the nanocarbides. But one of my favorite sequences here, besides what we did with Swinster in Part 4, I love them fight. They literally again falling out of the building just like in Part 1, but now
what they do
fighting.
with the fight, I love.
Yes!
I love the choreography. I love.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
So like they're as they're sliding down the building, they're fighting.
Blasting out of the building, yeah.
Look at that! Yeah, you see if everyone can see that bottom right panel, like where they're literally sliding down, facing each other, and they're fighting. It's insane. Like it. I absolutely love that part.
That's gonna get adapted. I know, like for a fact.
Like so good. And then even it goes on as well. We showed you the panel right next to it. Like you could see just as because there's a huge explosion. They're trying to destroy the whole building, so they get blown out of it, and they're fighting as they're sliding down the building into the water. Like the fighting does not stop at any point. Does it stop? And I think. At some point, even Mikey does try to get a bit of a reprieval there. He's like, "Let me see if I can breathe for a second. I think I lost him," and it's like
he tries to look for a weakness, and the
armor,
suit is just healing itself. But there's a brief moment between when it gets injured and when it heals itself that he's like, "Oh, I gotta do something with that."
Yeah, because now
they're still going back and forth, and Mikey throws a grenade at him that he catches. It detonates, and then he stabs the hand where the gap was.
Which is so smart. And they even show it like in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so after falling off the building, there's the grenade. Oh yeah, because the grenade is when they were fighting on the rooftop, right?
No, this is when they're down in the...
They're already in the sewers?
Yeah, because them falling was what made Mikey realize that there was a weakness in the suit.
Oh yeah, because this panel right here with the dirty, like it's probably like literal shit in the water, but like in the sewers, you could see his face mask and everything coming off. Oh, you could see the red parts of his suit underneath. Yeah, so that's where he saw it, and then he threw the. And you just see all this electricity coming out.
Yeah.
But you can see after all that, like the full multiple explosions.
Oh, and then he also breaks Raph's sai, which.
Yeah, I was like, "Fuck!" I know,
and especially after having that imagery of the sai earlier, like
that hurt.
Yeah,
That definitely hurt, especially him seeing that in Part 2, where it's just like in the blood-filled water. And here you can see that instead of I did like the way the fight with Karai and Raph ended because it was more of like the final blow to each other, like more an embrace. Where here it's just like
it's just a knockout, drag-out fight.
Yeah, it's a drag-out fight where, like, he finally sees the weakness in the armor. I think, was it like an EMP? I see he gets electrified, and I think that got through his metal, and it kills Hiroto for the most part. But, because he gets electrified.
So, yeah, he
because his tampons have electricity on them, I think.
Yeah, he manages after another fall to get a sword through the suit and stab him in the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing so, he busts part of the suit, so it starts to short circuit.
Ah, okay, yeah, that part I was a little confused. I wasn't sure if that was him using some type of
No, he straight
attack.
up takes Leo's katana and stabs him in the stomach.
And then that's when it short circuited. Okay, I thought maybe like he did like some electrical attack to him. All right, so that was that just came solely from the stab. Okay.
Yeah, and then he kicks the sword further through him.
That felt so good. I was like, "Fuck Hiroto!" Look at that shit. Ooh, you could feel the power behind that kick. Like, oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm. I hate this suit so much. I hate this.
Now you get to see it die. It dies with Hiroto, unless he like comes back somewhere else. But and unfortunately, there like it shows Mikey passing out, and then it's just a long dragged out fight.
Well, right after that, we got Mikey picks up a manhole cover to try to finish the fight, and
right.
And Hiroto takes that moment to then swipe in Mikey's stomach.
Yeah.
And so
Basically,
now
almost,
Mikey's injured.
it's a bad injury. It's like he's almost gutted.
And then he uses Donatello's bow staff. He snaps it in half. And just... he just cracks it over his head so hard that it snaps in half.
Oh, shit, yeah.
So, like...
Oh, the bow staff, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that I remember. But I guess he's using... I mean, it's literally all his brothers helping him in this fight. He's using all their weapons.
So then he drops down into the... Yeah. It's every single one of them.
Yep.
Then he drops down into the sewers, patches himself up very crudely, and pulls out his nunchucks. And it's just...
then it's Mikey fight. But I love that it was just...
I love how he looks in this, like, after patching himself up. Like, just...
Oh my god, yeah.
Such a good look.
That was such a badass look for him. And also, it's just like, again, all the brothers and just, you know, the metaphors coming back to them, what he's using against Hiroto for, like, it's his whole family.
And he literally breaks the crown off of Hiroto with the nunchucks, which is just, it's...
it's I mean, he absolutely destroyed him, but Hiroto did fuck him up for a while during that fight as well. And because it was so dragged out, Mikey unfortunately does not survive that either.
And the whole time they're doing this, April's trying to repair the filtration pump system in the sewer to get the flooding out, which she does at the last second, but then all of the water rushes through and washes Mikey and Hiroto into this like big mud pit.
Oh, okay. Because there was it was a huge mud pit area, like where all the sewage goes.
Which brings us to the second to last Dark Knight Rises reference.
Oh, okay. What is that?
Batman fights the leader of the mutants in a giant mud pit because the mutant leader is so big and strong and is overpowering him and is faster than him, that Batman uses his resourcefulness and brings the fight to the mud pit, where the big guy can't get a grip on him.
Oh, which makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. But still, here,
he's
like,
moving slower and he's slipping and he's much more crude. Meanwhile, Batman with his technique is able to use that to get around.
His advantage, yeah.
So here we've got literally like this whole fight that's going on in this mud pit that is just extremely reminiscent. Like, aside from like the tech stuff,
yeah,
extremely reminiscent of that the end of part 1 of Dark Knight Rises.
Oh my god, I love that. See, I'm glad you're telling me all, because I know when I read that, I'm gonna really look back to Last Ronin just to kind of compare and contrast. And of course, probably
like,
again,
literally the pitch for this book is what if Dark Knight Rises but TMNT.
The pitch for the book.
Yeah, literally. Like.
So again, you know, of course, after all that, we get to, you know, there's so many of these emotional moments in this comic, and you get to, you know, Casey and April find him. Unfortunately, he gives her the book and it says, you know, where it says no peace there. He explains a bit to her what that means and for her to keep training. And
where the flip comes in, where he actually did write in the K and the W for no peace.
Yeah. So, like, to know peace, not no peace.
Yeah.
To
and
feel it at some point and actually get there.
And now we get to the final Dark Knight Rises reference.
Oh no!
Where
a death?
Yeah. Granted, in Dark Knight Rises, it's not actually all of what it seems. But in this, we do have Mikey die in the arms of Casey.
Yeah.
Where in Dark Knight Rises, he dies with Carrie after fighting Superman.
Oh, okay. So it's like the same type of like,
and it even has the same like the heart rate monitor just going flatline.
No, it has the same one too.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, so that literally was just straight from the panel.
Yeah.
But, and I absolutely love that too, because then it just shows, like, you can almost hear the EKG monitor even as a reader, so you know that sound. And that was so sad when she's like, "Goodbye, my friend." So like,
And then
that's so sad.
While in Dark Knight Rises, there's a whole separate epilogue that goes into this. Here we actually do get, since it is actually his death, him with meeting up with his brothers again, and they're all teenagers again.
Yeah.
And Casey and Splinter.
That I know that made me like tear up a bit because it was just like, oh,
it's such a beautiful sequence
because all of them have been dead for so long. So for him to finally be like, I can meet them again. He's seeing
and
Casey.
He can finally
and his brothers.
be home and at peace.
Yeah, no peace, and then and him leaving that with Casey as well to keep fighting for that and what he trained her with. So it's just like, and I think I felt more for April just because growing up, April and what she went through with the turtles and how close she was with him. So. But you feel it from Casey as well. I just think with April it's definitely more poignant. But I love that whole series of that. I was like, oh, like showing him like in a heaven type of thing with them.
And then we get to the epilogue,
which I love because that's the big reveal. Yeah. I'll let you reveal it.
Where Casey is training and like training by herself. Technically, this is another Dark Knight Rises reference.
No way! Oh, come on!
but this time not of the first book. This is technically of Dark Knight 3.
Oh, okay.
Because
like a rebirth.
Carrie becomes Batman.
Oh, so okay, like the promotion, if you want to, will, I guess. Yeah.
So here it's Casey, like training and then going into this lab with April, and she starts talking to these little turtles.
Yes, and how
they're growing the next generation.
Literally, the final, and I was like, I was like, literally. I mean, that opens the whole comic verse. That opens the entire comic verse to a whole new TMNT. There's gonna be new turtles and new names.
There was a whole sequel to this.
Oh, there was.
Yeah, there's TMNT 2, or Last Ronin 2.
And does it show them growing up like that?
It just ended in April, and yeah, it's all about the new turtles.
I gotta read it.
It's not as good as this. From everything that I've seen, I haven't actually read it myself.
Right.
But I know that from everything else I've seen, it's not quite.
Still,
this was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, no, I mean, and again, I think you just from me going from Mr. Miracle to Last Ronin, I'm just spoiled at this point. But
yep.
And then
I'm hoping that the next grouping of stuff that I've selected for us
holds up.
Yep.
Oh no, please! I mean,
I think it will.
I mean, look, from all the time that I've known you, not even just this podcast, but even all your game redemptions, you haven't failed me on anything. So it's been nothing but top tier recommendations. So I'm very much looking forward because again, for me, like people like Captain America and Superman and things like that, I just I know of them. I know that they're really overly good heroes, but I don't get into their stories.
They can be hard to get into because of that.
Yeah, because they're a little too like goody, especially Captain America. I would say even more than Superman, but it's just like
I will say I have recently become a fan of him as well.
Captain America. Okay.
Yeah. So there are ways to get into these characters, even if you were like me, where I was very much a Batman person. Mm-hmm. Superman was just kind of boring to me.
Yes.
And then once you start getting into the actual the conflicts of the character and how who they are allow them to overcome a lot of this stuff, that's when you really start to get into oh, I get it now.
Right. It's like, I think that's why Superman Up in the Sky I'm actually really excited for, because again, even with TMNT, it's just a whole different look, because even though I love them already, for me to where it's somone that I know bits from media, Justice League, things like that. Of course the movies, and that movie's coming out as well. It would be good to see more the comic that got you into it. And then I hope that gets me into it as well, because it's exciting to see them from different angles.
And I think the movie is it's not based on the comic, but it is taking a lot of tonal inspiration from it.
Okay.
So
Okay. So that
yeah.
you mean From Up in the Sky?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. I'll say so. At least it'll be something
And
a
a
bit
few
more
other
like
books as well, but so when James Gunn took over DC, he kind of he created this writers' room of people who constantly like are looking over the scripts and bouncing ideas back and forth between each other. One of those people is Tom King.
Oh,
So
okay.
so very much in the core of this new DC universe is this kind of a tone.
Yes.
And yeah, so there are connections here. I'm not just throwing a random Superman book out here.
No, no. I mean, I trusted that it would be something at least more akin to, the tone of the movie. That's why even with Fantastic Four as well, I know we'll probably try to look for something along those lines too.
But I think before we keep going into future stuff,
yes,
just what overall review? What'd you think of Last Ronin?
Oh, for me, 10 out of 10. 100, because for me, I love TMNT as it is, so I was already going in with high hopes because I just know being a fan of it, growing up with it. And also, I love darker stories. I think that's also just me too. I think I just prefer more darker stories over like the slice of life, happy-go-lucky stuff. So that's why, again, like how you say you were such a fan of Batman, I am as well. So to see this go in that direction, especially where TMNT is known to be so like cheerful and fluffy like that.
Yeah.
To see it go in a darker direction, find out who the Last Ronin was, all their deaths, and how, that emotional journey of Mikey, it's hard for me to have any negatives there. I mean, yeah, I guess except the Shredder suit, but other than that, see, and it, I think for me,
but also I just real quick a comment on that suit. I feel like it fits his character to have a stupid, pathetic suit. So it still works.
And I think you explained it more perfectly, where it's like that it felt unfinished, and I think it fits him because even in that fight with Splinter, it's like he just threw random shit on. Like it doesn't look like well thought out. It's just like he uses it for practicality, not really for aesthetics. So it's just like he doesn't know how to even give off. He tries to give off this vibe of like I have the power and I'm so overarching despot type of thing, but
he can barely even do anything with it. Like he needs the suit to do everything he needs.
Yeah, because he could barely fight himself. I mean, that was all the liquid metal trying to do most of that deflecting for him.
And his backstabbing.
That too. Because that's all he knows. That's literally all he knows. So he's just underhanded individual overall. So I guess technically now, thinking back on it, I guess the suit does fit him very well for his character. So yeah, again, I think that gave it and what really put it over the top, because I could have said like 8 out of 10 or something, but really giving it the 10 out of 10 was really the ending, because this book could have easily been like, this is the Last Ronin, this is how they all died, the end type of thing. But to really end it with the epilogue of showing a new generation of Turtles, that really puts it over the top, because it's like, it just gets the reader even more excited for a future generation.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this book so much. There's a reason this was one of the first books that I was like, you should read this. And yeah.
Yeah, for those of you that don't...
Although I do wish that I had you read Dark Knight Rises first.
I know, but it's so funny that you say it. There were multiple times in this book I'm like, well, that looks like Robin. I'm just like, like I pointed it out even myself. So, but now like when we get to it, I'll be like, okay, now I could do the reverse and try to like go back to the TMNT book and really see. Because that one I'm going to most likely buy the hardcover too. I mean, it's so funny we keep talking about digital. I've just been buying all these comics.
They're so good.
Yeah. Plus, like, again,
you just want to own it and have it. And,
yeah. I mean, look at this. Even the front cover of this damn thing. Look at this thing. It looks so good. Like, I
got like this hardcover. Like,
this is gonna get me to invest in a bookshelf. Like, I don't even have one in my room, but I'm just gonna do it at this point, because I'm gonna keep.
It's a good investment.
Yeah, we're gonna keep buying more of these for the podcast, so it's like, why not? So yeah, I mean, thank you everyone that came to the podcast today. I'm glad you all had
we're
really
not
great
friendship.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Oh, because you want to talk about some of the upcoming ones?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I was gonna do that as part of the ending, but I'll let you talk because you know a bit more with the movies than I even do, so I'll let you talk
Oh,
about it.
it sounded like you were going into an outro, so I was like,
Oh yeah. No, I want to talk about like
I was like, wait.
Sorry. No, I was more like ending the Last Ronin, but yes, I want to talk about the upcoming events.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So next one we're doing is a double feature of doing reviewing the Superman movie plus Superman Up in the Sky, which might go a little longer considering the double, but we'll we'll see. We'll see. Up in the Sky is not a very long book, being 6 issues,
Oh, okay.
but it is like we'll see how long we talk about the movie. I guess that'll determine it.
Yeah.
And then after that, we've got Daredevil Born Again, which you will see a lot of. I mean, I know you're already reading it, but and I'm sure you can see a lot of crossover between like the Turtles and Daredevil now.
Oh yeah. I'm glad that you actually brought it up because again, these are all things I'm thinking, but you're confirming because I don't know for sure.
Yeah. And then in
Fantastic.
October,
Yes.
I'm. Oh wait, no, yeah.
We skipped the Fantastic Four one in August.
Yeah, I skipped Fantastic Four.
That's okay. That I know. I think we're gonna have to make that longer than our typical time because I think there's gonna be a lot to talk about Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that and Superman are probably going to be similar times because there's going to be a lot to talk about in terms of both the movie and then
and comparing.
Yeah. And
yes.
so then it's Daredevil.
Yes.
And then in October, we are planning on. Did you actually decide which book, or were we still between the two?
I have my notes. So I love my notepad. It helps me keep track. New comics to read.
But I'm finally getting Krim into
I'm excited.
into Batman.
Yes. So I think the only reason I was saying that I guess we could do either, and that could be a recommendation from you as well. But I only thought Black Mirror first, only because you said that it kind of leads into it, and Court of Owls is also the better of the two.
Mm.
So maybe maybe we do it that way.
Black Mirror is a very like horror story.
Okay.
So,
oh my god! And October, yes, there we go, perfect, good timing.
Exactly. That's why I'm excited.
I mean, I'm excited because it's Batman. I just love Batman. Like I think I don't think I've ever actually. Yeah, now that I think about it, I never actually sat down and read a full comic of his. So
there's that. So
yeah.
I'm honestly wondering if we start with Court of Owls since you haven't read a Bruce Batman.
I have not. Yeah, I have not.
And just like get that full Bruce story, and then maybe towards the end of the month, closer to Halloween, we do Black Mirror.
Yeah, and we could do that as well. So I should be able to do that. I have some time off in October, but we'll definitely talk more on like timings and dates.
Yeah.
Because if not, I hate to keep pushing Daredevil because I love him, but we could always do that Court of Owls in September as well, and then do the other one in October. But
possibly.
We'll see what we can do.
For the viewers, that will be up in the air. But
yes, that's yeah. I put a TBD in our comic panel just because we weren't 100% sure.
But we are doing Batman.
Yeah, no, it will be done because one of them will be in October, most likely Black Mirror. But if we can, we'll try to do both because that could even be a Halloween day type of thing, depending what day that falls on this year. But yes, no, thank you for the upcoming events. I mean, I hope everyone had a good time as well because I love talking about the comics, and we've been talking about this for a hot minute. It wasn't really forgotten. It's just, again, life kind of knocked us over the head. So
Life was beating us down for a bit there.
yeah, and although honestly I still think this is overall a good year going for me, it's just that it was really just focusing on a few other things, and of course just delays. I mean, I have a whole entire PC set up right now that I had to put a lot of money into, but it was worth it. And that delayed us for a month and a half, and then your delays as well. So I'm just glad that everything is set up. We're both feeling better. Yeah, financially, mentally, physically, like all that stuff, and we are fully back. So we did start this trying to do bi-weekly, but I think right now, just because I have vacations coming up this month and next month, we're just doing monthly for now, feeling it out. I'm thinking maybe if not as early as October, then possibly November we'll try to do bi-weekly and keep it every 2 weeks from that point on. Because right now it's going to be a little tough for me to do so, but But it is right now we're keeping it on Sundays, so all the dates you see in the comic panel are Sundays, and we will keep 2 p.m. Eastern as well on our Comic Warriors channel. We're always revising the look, so I always welcome, like I said in our first Mr. Miracle podcast, I always welcome any feedback. I'm always trying to revise how it looks. This is actually different from the scene in our first podcast, so
Yeah.
always take any feedback possible.
Always improving.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is something we just started, and and then of course we have our own individual channels, which we put the links up earlier in the stream, and in the panels below too, with our Twitters and the YouTube archive for the Comic Warriors channel itself. It is not our own individual YouTubes. This is a link specifically for this channel.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is all. This channel has its own everything.
Yeah, it is its own entity. We are just pawns of the channel. We're just here. We're the underlings. We just provide we provide the content. But it is its own thing, and I'm actually glad we did it this way, as opposed to even just sharing what we do. So,
yeah, absolutely. I definitely like how we've set this up. So I'm excited for the future.
Yes. And there's again, welcome any comments and feedbacks. Even if it's on the YouTube channel, if you see something after the fact, please let us know. Like, it's something where I do not get easily offended by any of that. I want to improve, and this is something where we want to give the content to you guys as fluid as possible.
Yep, absolutely.
Is there
I don't think I have anything to add.
Okay, that's perfect. Well, then
you covered it all.
Yeah, no, I get really into the outros, but
hey, you're good. You're better than I am.
Well, okay. Well, thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed, what little is of the weekend. I think last time we did this on Saturday, but it's Sunday. That's okay. And have an amazing rest of the month, especially in Happy Pride to anyone. It is June. So, and we'll see you again in July for... I can't wait to hear everyone else's thoughts. I mean, the Superman movie's going to be... I'm excited. Oh, yeah. Especially Fantastic Four.
I hope it's good. Yeah. I have a good feeling that it will be good.
Yes.
That it will be good, but I'm very...
I know. I mean, and again, for anyone watching, even if it's not, we're going to review regardless. So we won't change anything. But
we'll just be ranting rather than gushing.
Right, exactly. It's a fair review, whether it's good or bad, right? So yep. And Fantastic Four, my man Pedro's in there. I'm excited for the whole cast. I mean, they're just stacked, all 4 of them. So
oh yeah.
Yeah, Jesus, I'm excited. All right, everyone, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you on, I believe it's July 13th for our next podcast with Superman. I think it's just called Superman. Is there a subtitle?
Of the movie, no.
Of the movie. So Superman, the movie. I think it had a subtitle previously, as you told me, but it doesn't now.
Yeah.
And then Superman Up in the Sky with more of a compare and contrast. So it'll be a little longer podcast. And feel free to chime in. We want to know what you think of the movie as well. It's going to be a huge opening weekend.
Oh, massive.
Yeah. All right. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.